Sauce Faye. Sauce Faye. Sauce Faye. Sauce Faye.
I'm Sauce Faye.
You are listening to the Bomb Hole.
Bomb Hole Podcast.
It's going to be very hot. It's going to be very uncomfortable for everybody.
The Bomb Hole.
You're gonna slide down them big hills, you know what I mean, on the big, nice burgundy
Snowboard.
Okay, here we go. Another day back in the booth with Stony Buds. What is happening, my friend?
Not much, big dog. Another day in the booch.
Back in the booch, we got this week's guest, Brock Crouch. Brock, what's going on, my friend?
Not much. Just cruising. Just rolled into the crib. We had a couple technical difficulties, but he whipped out the tools behind you, and you set that shit up.
Yeah, for the listeners and viewers, we had the microphones were falling off the table all over the place. We had a Code Red situation going on. So.
And this is a real set, real active tool housing garage, not just a fake video set. So it's good to see you use those tools.
Absolutely. D-Wall, if you ever want to sponsor the show, we already endorse your products anyway. But yeah, let's throw it back to where you're from, SoCal, dude, the SoCal kid.
Yeah, I grew up in Southern California. Mom and dad had an apartment up in Mammoth with my grandma, and grew up riding there. Never really was on the Mammoth snowboard team. Was always kind of like coached individually. And actually, Shane Flanagan, Tyler Flanagan's dad, I just rode with them for probably about 6 years and 7 years. And he came to a bunch of USA essays and dope contest, and he was there for me. And getting to ride with Tyler and Keegan and all those guys up there in Mammoth was super, super dope. And yeah. Super thankful for my parents. They always were having me do super, super fun shit. Like, they always were like, yeah, let's go back down in April, right when the snow kind of stops coming and you can go and surf and skate. And I always loved, like, playing baseball and football and just, like, a bunch of different sports. They didn't want to ever, like, really burn me out, which was, I'm super thankful for that.
And you grew up at a young age, Dave Downing, big inspo.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I'm going to give him a little air horn. But
definitely. Dave is Dave is my mentor through all of snowboarding. He helps me out so much. And yeah, Dave, I remember Downing took me out in the backcountry for the first time ever in Tahoe when I was about 7 years old. And that was the day that I met Danny Davis. And I was tripping. I was going out with we were with like Mike Hatchett, bunch of old TB12 homies, and it was so insane. We were in South Lake Tahoe. Danny rolled up, and like a mice or some shit was eating his wires in his snowmobile, rolled up, and we were like going on the trailhead for maybe 5 miles, and he flew by me and my dad, and his shit literally had a flame, like flying like 5 feet out of the front of his snowmobile, and it just caught on fire.
Classic mouse on the wires, huh?
Yeah. I'm claiming he may have left the parking brake on. I don't know.
That's what it was.
I don't know.
I've actually heard people say that mice get into their shit, though, in Tahoe-ish area, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see that happening.
But the flame comes from the e-brake.
I'm
claiming e-brake.
You claiming e-brake? Let's find out. We'll hit him up, Danny. So did you say it was Danny?
Yeah.
So that's where you met him. So his sled burned down.
You were 7.
Yeah, I was like 7 or 8, I think. And yeah, we were with Hatchet and Downing was on his own sled, and me and my dad were going out, and Hatchet and Downing were way in front of us. And so we like hit the radio really quick, and we're like, yo, Danny's sled, or Danny hit the radio. I don't think I had one. I was so young. And he was like, yo, my sled is in flames. What the fuck do we do? And then Hatchet and Downing like come running around the corner, and Downing like started throwing snow on it. I remember Hatchet was like, get away from it. It's going to blow up. Like, it was a full-on scene. That was like that's actually crazy scene for my first ever backcountry experience. Holy shit. And then we went and rode dope little lines in Tahoe with Danny D. And
you're already pretty good at this point?
Yeah, I mean,
going out with standard.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's 7.
Yeah, I don't know. I just am so thankful. Downing and my dad, I think, met through like church or something like that down in Southern California, and I guess ever since then they just kind of hit it off, and they both love surfing and hanging, and so it's insane.
So they were buds.
Yeah, they were like super good homies, and my dad actually like helps a bunch with Dave, like taking out people in the backcountry and shit. It's really cool.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of brings us to our guest question, presented by Solomon Snowboards. We got Solomon team rider Judd Henkes asking you one. So here we go.
What's up, bumhole? Judd here. I have a question for Brock. What made you decide between snowboarding and surfing?
Oh,
You're going to be pro. You could have maybe had a career in surfing, correct?
yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, when I was younger, I grew up in Carlsbad, 1 mile away from the beach, and my dad loved to surf, and so did my brothers. And yeah, I just grew up surfing and skateboarding, and I wasn't really into surfing actually that much. I was just skating the YMCA like all the time, and I'd never really surf. And then I remember when I was like 13, I think I got a board for my birthday or for Christmas or something, and so did one of my like best friends at the same time, and his dad and my dad always would surf. And I remember that day down at Pipes, I had a broken wrist actually from falling off of a balcony, and I had a waterproof cast. And I remember that day I was like, wow, this is actually really, really fun. I was riding a brand new board. And then when I was probably 14 or 15, I started doing a couple of NSSA surf contests, and then the U.S. snowboard team did something with like the U.S. surf team, and then I met some dude from there, and then qualified to be into like the USA surfing. They were called the Primes, and they were just another competition down in Southern California, and I did those, and then got an invitation to be on the USA surf team for when I was like 16 or 17, and went over to Japan and it's called like the ISA World Games, and did that. And then yeah, after that it was pretty sick. We actually won. It was pretty insane. I made it through like 3 or 4 heats, and then you like go to this like repo charge heat. It's pretty crazy. All these kids from around the world, it's kind of like honestly like junior worlds for snowboarding events. Like it's like kind of that similar contest look, you know. You have like different opportunities to try and like get back into the event or some shit. And then honestly I had that crazy accident and realized how much I love snowboarding. And that's kind of like, to answer the question, is like I just love snowboarding so much, and I love surfing as much, but it'd be pretty sick to try and just focus on snowboarding for the next couple of years, do some contests and shit, and then maybe try to do like a project I want to really do like a project with surfing and snowboarding. But
what were you better at as a kid, would you say?
I mean, I grew up going to Mammoth for 5 months out of the year, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's always been snowboarding first, you know? But then there was a point in my life where it was pretty crazy. I'd be like, I remember I did the US Open, and I drove down to Denver with my mom, and we flew right to like Santa Cruz or some shit like that. Met my dad. He had like my 3 surfboards. He drove up from Southern California, and then I like did a surf contest for 2 days, and then like dipped and went back to like a snowboard event, or went and like filmed or some shit.
Sounds like your parents kind of like really would just do whatever it took to get you out there, huh?
Yeah.
Or what did they do for a living that they're
Yep.
able to do this?
My mom works for Wells Fargo, and my dad is a general contractor, has his own construction company. So
Give him some air horns.
Yeah, props.
yeah, for sure. He was at Lusardi. I don't know if some of the
I've
viewers.
heard of that.
Yeah, some of the viewers and you guys may know, it's this huge construction company in Southern California, and he was actually like the vice president. Or not the vice president. He was like super good homies with like the vice president. He was like his main lieutenant or some shit.
Yeah.
And and he bailed from that company, and he was like, with Brock traveling, like I gotta like go to these events. And I'm like, that's why in those questions I said like my dad's definitely my biggest inspiration in life for sure, because he just kind of dropped everything almost and just like did everything it could take to like get me places. And I'm super, super fortunate from the companies that support me, because I had like the little extra money to go and like, all right, I want to go do some surf contests. Okay, like, you know, like I had like a little bit more to be able to go and make the quick flight from Colorado back to California to be able to do a surf event, you know, like super thankful for them though, because they definitely like did everything it takes to get me to where I am today, you know.
That's awesome.
I was having a conversation with Alex Andrews, and he basically, I'm going to quote him loosely, saying that you're one of the most motivated riders he's ever seen. Now, what I was wondering is, do you think some of that work ethic, that motivation, like, where does it come from? To put words in your mouth, does it come from your dad doing construction, stuff like that? Yeah.
My dad has always taught me, like, dude, you need to go out and, like, work for it, you know? And, like, I'm super, super fortunate. Like, I remember we'd go to launches, and my dad would, like, kind of, like, he would just be there, so I wouldn't be, like, going crazy. But I remember I'd always, like, show up to I remember at a launch one time I showed up to, like, a Vulcan party, had some beers, went home, and he just fully knew. And he was like, hey, come up here. I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm just chilling. We gotta be up there super early tomorrow. Bridges wants us to go hit that jump, you know? And he like, kept me in line, though, for sure. Like, he knows everything. He knows. He's been in the same shoes. My dad actually raced motocross for a really long time. And so he's like, he definitely understands the vibe and what is going on at these big events and shit like that, you know? And I feel like him keeping me in check and, like, him telling me, like, no, this is how you need to do some things and this is how you do others. And he'd always, like, take me out to his job sites and, like, have me, like, work and be like, yeah, if this shit doesn't work out, this is what you're going to be doing. Like, if you don't go and work hard and you don't go be productive and you don't go and strive to be the best that you can possibly be, because that's how you want to wake up every single day, and that's all you're trying to do is be the best human you could possibly be. And my dad, like, taught me that. He taught me everything, like, and it's sick too because he's, like, super good at, like, mechanics and shit. So whenever I'm on the road, if, like, one of our snowmobiles are kind of acting up, like me and Red or some shit, I'll be like, yo, we kind of hit a tree. I don't know really what's going on. Like, I got to switch this A-arm out. Like, what do I need? You know, like, it's so sick having a dad that kind of knows everything. Like,
that's killer. Your options.
Super dope.
Like, you're either A, you can come swing a hammer at this job site, or B, you can chuck some front tens. You know,
That's pretty cool.
Like, I'm going to hit the
I'm going to go this way. Yeah. So I remember you coming to the launch and your dad. I remember meeting your dad, and it was sick, man. You guys rolled just a crew of basically micro snowboarders, and it always seemed like you rolled with the rad crew, and it was sick to see you guys come up. How was that for you, being so young at the launch? Was such a, I don't know, you guys were, like, killing it at a young age. It was pretty rad to see.
Yeah, dude, and that I'm just huge thanks to you and Bridges and everybody at Snowboarder. Like, you guys were the ones that made that event happen, and I was super, super fortunate. Like, that's kind of going back to, like, growing up riding with T-Flan and riding with Shane. Like, I'm pretty sure I was at the first ever launch.
You were?
When was the first launch in Keystone, or where was it?
I believe it was. There was, like, that car against a tree, maybe.
Yep, and then, like, Tyler and McMorris and
Tyler was
Seb Toots and those guys were there. Was that the year, or it might have been like a year after or something?
I think it was the same one you're talking about.
Yeah, and I remember me and Gabe.
You were probably there. Like what, 4?
Dude, we were like 7 or 8.
Like 7 or 8,
doing nationals in Copper, and I remember being there and just watching that session go down with, like, the helis and shit, and I was just like, dude, this is insane. Like,
back when we had budgets for helicopters at the launch.
Yeah, and my dad was like, dude, like, this is it. Like, this is what you need to work for, you know? Like, these guys are doing what they love every day, and they're just hitting this jump doing dope stuff. Like,
yeah.
And then I remember, like, years go by, and then that little posse of me and Cody Warble and Judd and Red, and I remember that one year at Bear, Red had, like, the red cam. Yes. They gave him, like, a red camera, and we just took the camera around Big Bear for one whole day, and it was so dope.
Yeah, you guys were just ripping.
Yeah, I remember just riding laps on laps on laps at the launch, just being like, there's so many photographers here. Like, this is so dope. Like, this is such a cool opportunity. I'm with all of my best friends, and this is insane. And that's, like, me and Luke Winkleman we always just, like, kind of, like, check in with each other. Like, dude, are you, like, this is insane. Like, are you still super grateful for doing this? Like, we were just saying that the other night. Like, so thankful to be a part of Burton, and they take such good care of us. But
at such a young age, huh? They made you guys family.
Yeah.
And then you got a little bit older, and I remember you were a part of the Snowboarder movie.
Yep.
And I remember you came out and hung out, and I kind of got a vibe. You were almost like you hung out with such tight kids all the time. I almost felt like you didn't work quite as hard that year as you could have when you came out. And you had so much natural talent, it's like you could hit anything and look fucking dope. But maybe, I don't know, because I don't know how to frame this.
Dude, was that
you know what I'm talking about?
That was the Magoon trip, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that was insane. I remember that just like yesterday. I was actually talking about that the other day. Remember that house we stayed at? It had that dope-ass little pond in front of it with these trout that were like
Oh yeah, that was
30 inches
Yeah.
in Seven Springs. It was super dope. And yeah, 100%. I remember I was filming for the beta. And
Is that what it was, Beta?
yeah, I think, yeah, we were filming for beta. And that year was a crazy year. I remember I just started, the year before that I did pretty good in some X Games. And I think I was like 15 or 16, and I was with Red, traveling the world, getting into X Games, getting into Dew Tour, doing all of these contests over in Europe, where the drinking age just does not exist.
That's true.
You're I was like 15, being like, "Can I get a beer, please?" And they're like, "Yeah, for sure." No,
I think
ID,
it's legal.
No ID needed. Yeah, I think it is legal. Like a beer you can get
Beer's
when you're
legal,
15.
liquor's like 18.
Yeah, and I remember, yeah, traveling the world and doing all these contests, and you're just going to all of these baller-ass dinners. You're like, oh, yeah, I got a Red Bull dinner tonight at Matsu. Oh, I got a Burn dinner tomorrow night at Nobu. You know, like kind of like getting caught up in the competition scene, and like really you should be there focusing, getting your, like making sure all of your shit is in line. And me and Red were just raging. We were just
how can you not?
We were just nonstop.
Yeah.
Like, it was actually insane. Like, huge shout out Dave Reynolds, Mike Ramirez. We put them through some crazy stuff, the U.S. team coaches, like, back then. And, yeah, and then I remember I came from the U.S. Open with Judd out to that shoot, and we were kind of raging there, too, because Seven Springs is like
They
a
put
boat.
everybody up, right?
Yeah, snowboard. Yeah, we were there for a beta park shoot in Seven Springs, and they put us all up in this pretty dope house. And Bridges is just there having a good time. He was staying, I think, up at the boat. He was staying up at the lodge, but all the homies were just down. I think you were staying
In
with
that
us.
little mansion house?
And Magoon. Yeah, Lucas pulled up. That was dope. And it was pretty awful weather, but we should have, like, at this, where I am now in the headspace I am, we definitely could have been making shit happen.
Yeah.
You know, it was just foggy, which now I look at it and you're like, oh, it's kind of foggy. Like, that's kind of a cool, like, photo opportunity off of a rail or something, you know? Like,
And I could see how it would be hard being a young kid with all this put in front of you. Like,
yeah.
But also, do you want to go swing hammers?
You're cruising around filming for the Snowboarder movie, and then fast forward. Can you give us a quick explanation of the life-changing event that happened when you were heliboarding? Who you were with, where were you, and what exactly happened?
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, that was one of the craziest things that has ever happened to me, and I feel like, yeah, a lot of snowboarders, a lot of everyone in this industry knows how gnarly the backcountry is, and it's really a bummer when you see people that don't know how gnarly it is, you know. But yeah, I was filming for beta, and I remember I got all these like crazy opportunities. I got a call from my Red Bull athlete manager at the time, and he goes, hey, there's this huge opportunity for you to go up to Whistler, because I really wanted to go to Alaska, and that wasn't happening. And so we tried to make something happen up in Whistler. And he goes, the Absinthe film, Justin Hosnick, Sheen Campos, Cam Fitzpatrick, Mark Tremblay, and John Jackson have an extra spot for you in the heli. Like, do you want to go? And I was like, dude, I'm driving. I remember I was driving up to Whistler to meet up with, or I was with Kai Gerard, actually, and I was going out there to try and get a couple shots for the beta movie, because I was like, dude, I don't have shit. Like, this is crazy. I got really kind of, I wasn't even thinking that at that time, because right before I went and got the call that I was going to Whistler to go in a heli with John Jackson's, like, one of my lifetime inspos, you know, and I wasn't even thinking. I was just like, yep, I'm there. Let's do it. I'm up at Baldface right now. I was up at Baldface for 10 days doing that, like, Turning Man event that Danny did. And I remember I was up there absolutely raging. Like, everybody has been to Baldface and know how it is. It is the best place on this planet, hands down. But after an insane day of riding POW, you got to have some drinks to that. And that's just
I've
how
heard
it
some
is.
crazy bar tabs go off. Let's, where were you at?
Yeah, I remember my mom called me and was like, hey, did you get charged like couple $1,000s extra from Baldface? And I was like, I don't know. I heard it's just always, I heard it's super expensive to go up there. Like, I don't know. Probably just like maybe, I don't know. And she was like, well, I don't know. And then I remember the next time I went up there, I was like, oh, yeah. So that's how this whole thing works. Like, there wasn't a tab for our drinks, you know? Like, Danny made this whole event happen, and we had to pay a little bit of money to go up there, but I thought that there was just free drinks.
Yeah, they don't charge you on the spot.
They don't tell you.
Yeah, they love
hey, you
that.
want a kokanee? Oh, you want a bloody, or what are they called? Caesars up there?
Caesars, that's Canadian.
They sneak it all to you.
Yeah, they're like, you want a Caesar? You want a kokanee? I was like, yeah.
They don't want to
yeah,
trouble
sure.
you with paperwork.
Yeah, they're just. It's great living up there. Not taking anything away from Baldface, but
No, it's awesome. I've actually never been. Have you been?
at that time in
yeah.
at that time in my life, I just got done with a competitive season. Did good in X Games. Did good in a couple events, and I was like, dude, we're up here raging. Like, we're with all of my best homies in snowboarding. You know, like
You were living.
it was so sick. Baden was up there. Jared. Danny, dude, Lamvic was up there. It was the sickest crew, I remember. And then right before I went up in the heli that day, I was sitting in the parking lot getting ready to go to Baldface when I got the call and was like, yo, there's a heli spot with absinthe for 5 days. Do you want to go? I was like, yep, I'm going. I remember we flew down from Baldface and drove out to Whistler, and that's when shit kind of hit the fan. I remember we got 2 pretty good days. It was April 19th when we got there, and then we rode the 20th and the 21st, and it was okay, I remember, and it was getting really, really hot. That's pretty late season to be filming in Whistler. Like, you can be getting stuff done in Whistler that time of year, but you shouldn't, like, necessarily, like, if you're heli, and you should be up in AK that time of year, you know, it's kind of, like, late, and we had it in our head that shit was melting for sure, you know, and, we went back out there and had an insane day on the 22nd, I remember. And, yeah, and then we got some insane lines I rode in the morning with John and Cam and everybody. And then we went over to this other zone. We were flying out Rutherford Valley and flew over this one spiny zone that looked pretty sick. And there was a couple sick poppers. And John Jay wanted to fly down there, and we stopped and, yeah, flew down and got a pretty insane run. And then I remember we were down at the bottom, and I just did this run, and I was kind of thinking to myself, it's so crazy looking back at this situation, like those red lights, you know? And for some reason, I remember when I was getting back in the heli, when we were like, how was the snow over there? Like, was it good? I was like, yeah, it was pretty fun, you know? Like, a little spicy on the way out, but other than that, that run was one of the better ones we've done all day. But yeah, I'd be down to maybe keep moving, you know, and maybe go out to the coast or something like that, because they were saying that we were going to keep heading west to hopefully find colder snow. And then we went back up, and we scouted all this. And when you're in the bird, you kind of like scout what you're going to ride, and you just kind of fly back and forth for like 5 to 10 or however long you need, and take your photos and do whatever, you know. And I remember doing that, and huge shout out John Jay for teaching me that little move, kind of taking the photo before you drop into your line and drawing where you are, you know. It's like, helps you tremendously know where you're going on the hill, you know, if you see what you're riding and try to match things up. And yeah, and I remember me and Cam Fitzpatrick were going down this ridge, and I was looking at this one rock where I wanted to kind of drop in and ride this spine, and then hit this little, like, I was going to try like a natty back 3 off this little popper. And I was riding down and I remember coming around the corner, grabbing onto this rock, and I was like, oh yeah, I think this is like the rock, and this is where I was supposed to be. And, you know, and hit up Justin Hosnick on the radio. He was like so far away over by the heli, actually. And I hit him up. I was like, hey, can you see me up here? I remember having a little conversation with him and asking if I was in the right spot. And I remember right before my accident, I remember hearing like, hey, like, I don't really know if I see you. You're kind of maybe lost. You might have went too far. Like, I just scanned the whole ridge, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to start walking back. And then right then I like put my hands, I was up on this rock, you know, and I put my hands up there and kind of like started I remember trying to like walk back off of whatever I was on, and fucking 2 minutes later, I realized that I was standing on top of like a 30 to 40 foot cornice, and that whole thing just swiped right from out of my legs. Remember hearing on the radio, avalanche, avalanche, avalanche. And then, yeah, right then I just remember kind of going into a mode like, wow, like this, I'm in this shit. I am fully in an avalanche right now, and I don't know what there is much that I can do. Although I remember that I had a backpack on, an airbag, and I was just trying to pull that, and it wasn't going. So that was kind of a shitty situation for sure, because I didn't hear the air start going through, you know, and right after just me, I remember trying to pull as hard as I could to get that thing to go. I remember I just like got tossed in a weird way, and then remember hearing my back break, and like it just like I remember it was so like, oh my, I'm in this, to like, oh, I just got fucked up. Like, you know, when you kind of like get hit pretty hard, you're like, oh, I might have something wrong, you know, like that was like instantly I heard that shit break on like a bunch of rocks and shit. And then, yeah, I fell down, I think they said like 1,200 to 1,600 vertical feet, like pretty savage.
That's fucked up.
That is savage.
Pretty savage run. We were riding pretty big runs in Whistler.
So you're with Absinthe.
Yeah, I was with John Jay and the boys. So
yeah, you're not riding small stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty eye-opening, you know, and yeah, I just remember right when I got buried, first thing Downing ever taught me was if you ever are in an accident or if you're ever in the avalanche, you always need to think about your airway. And I was like, yeah, okay, for sure. Like, I want to learn everything from you. Like, I remember trying to make an airway, and my arm
kind of spinning your arm.
Yeah,
in front of you.
and I was like buried. My legs were like above my head. My arm was like behind my backpack or some shit. And they thought, right when they unburied me, they thought that my arm was like gone. They thought, like John, I guess, was saying that he thought that my arm was like amputated, because it was like
it was in such a weird
position. It was like tucked up behind my back. It was pretty crazy. So, yeah, and then I just remember I was like, I love snowboarding with all my heart. I love my family, and it'll be a gift from God if I make it out of this situation. And I remember just being so calm and was just like, I mean, I was just so content. I was so thankful and so happy with everything that has happened in my snowboard career and my life, like growing up as a kid. I just like remember like thinking about all of that, and I was just like, dude, if this is my time, this is my time, you know. And I just remember I just was as calm as I could possibly be, and then 6.5 minutes later, snap back into it.
You were out like under for 6.5 minutes?
Yeah. I luckily, going back a little bit, when I remember when I was saying how I hit up Hosnick to see if he was on the radio, the heli pilot was back there with him. And apparently right before I hit Hosnick on the radio, he was saying that the heli pilot, this dude Josh, he was like, yeah, are you all good? Will the sound bite get messed up if I leave the rotors going? Because I don't know, you guys have been on helis, like it takes like 5 minutes if you shut a heli completely off, it takes a while to get that thing back going, you know. And so very, very luckily and super smart pilot we were working with, Josh left the rotors going, and right when things went south, he was like up in the air. But he said, by the time I got to the bottom of the debris, there's this big rock wall that he said I was kind of like pinballing off of it a little bit, kind of gnarly. I like all these 6 teeth right here are all fake. Got pretty messed up for sure. But yeah, I don't know. That was definitely probably one of the biggest eye-opening experiences
I would say
ever happened.
What was the total bone?
You know? I broke my back in 3 places. I broke my, this face bone right here. I had, I think 24 doctor's appointments or something like that. And, 7 to 9 months of getting, my face kind of reconstructed, because all of this bone up here, got broken. And so I had 3 or 4 dental surgeries up in there. And they were They had to like go and put some bone graft up there and shit. And then I lacerated my pancreas, didn't really eat in the hospital for like 4 days. But yeah, I don't know. I'm super thankful for the crew that I was with. Like, it's so special when I get to see those guys every single time. Whenever I'm up in Whistler, I try to always see the heli pilot. And then whenever I see John and Mark and Cam, it's just like so like kind of like Seth and Jeremy and Alex, like their story's so gnarly, and I feel like they all like at the end of the day you got to take the positive out of everything, and they have like such a special bond now, you know, like they had some of the most eye-opening shit, and it's so awesome, that whole story, to like hear how their story went and how my story went, you know. It's super, super cool.
What would you say the biggest learning takeaway was from that whole experience?
I think that I remember right when I got out of the hospital, I got back down to Carlsbad, and I was driving on the coast highway to go eat food for the first time. Like, I was in a wheelchair. I was pretty effed up still. I had no teeth, and I was driving down the coast, and it all hit me. I just started bawling my eyes out. Like, I guess, like, breaking your back is, like, one of the most emotional bones you can break in your body. So, like, I would just, like, start bawling, like, every single day. And I had, like, really gnarly PTSD.
That's what I was wondering.
Shit. Like,
yeah.
I had, like, really bad dreams. I had to go to classes for, like, 2 months. It was pretty bad. But, yeah, I just remember driving down the coast highway back home for the first time and, like, just bawling my eyes out and really realizing, like, holy shit, your life can get taken from you at any given second. And I feel like it's pretty crazy. Like, a lot of people don't have that life-changing experience, and, like, it's really, really a bummer to see how sometimes kids are acting, and you're like, dude, like, why are you saying that shit right now? Like, you have no idea. Like, things could end right now. Like, literally in a blink of an eye, and I think that's one of the biggest things I've ever, like, in that one question you asked me earlier, you were asking, I don't know what that question was, but we were talking about, like, the words I live.
The
words to live by. It's like, I live for the moment. Like, that's my words to live by, and I think that, I think those words are pretty strong words, because I think everybody out there should be living for the moment, especially it's 2020. Shit's kind of crazy. But
yeah, shit's fucked up right now.
That's
wake
true,
up and
2020.
Wake up and try to be as positive as you possibly can be, and try to get shit done, because you have a very, very small window.
Dude. And you basically could have died right there, and you were ready to accept it.
Yeah.
You were like,
I
might not make it out of here.
Yeah, it's a part of what we do, I feel like. You know, and I feel like if you want to be pushing the limits and doing crazy things in the backcountry, sometimes you got to like, obviously, I was definitely not, I was so young.
Do you feel like you were prepared to be out where you were?
You weren't qualified to be on that bird, you don't think?
No. Hell no.
Money probably was exchanged, and you were sent on a trip, and you needed shots, and you were like, anyone would say yes.
Yeah, I remember, I'll show you guys this clip after. I remember, like, I rode probably the gnarliest line I've ever ridden, still to this date. John Jay was like, yo, get up on that cliff, hit that cliff under that
John,
cornice.
it's nothing,
yeah.
right?
He's like, hit that cliff up on that cornice, or under that cornice, and then do this slash on that spine down there, and it'll be a sick clip. I was like, yeah, for sure. Yes, sir. Like,
yes, John.
And that was the morning. The morning was so dope.
He's like a 15, 20-year vet. Why wouldn't you do a line he pulls out for you, of course?
Yeah,
and you pulled that line?
Yeah, that one was sick. I was super stoked. And, I don't know. I feel like definitely I was getting really, really sucked into this competition. Even filming. You go on film trips, you deal with shitty weather, and you sit inside for a week straight, and you're like, okay, we have to drink a 30 rack a day. There's nothing better we can be doing. All right, we can't go we'll go hit these dank-ass restaurants in the town of Jackson and go hit the spa and get ready for the next time we go out. But, like, it's really crazy, because growing up, trying to film in snowboarding and trying to compete as much as I could and do both, you know, I feel like it was like, me and Red were just living the absolute dream. Like, it was actually insane. And I feel like that whole winter, what we were just kind of talking about leading up to the accident, was, like, definitely, I feel like, a big sign for me. I feel like I just was definitely getting sucked in and partying a lot. Like it was a point where I was almost drinking there every single day. It was pretty crazy. So I feel like definitely big ass wake up call after that whole deal, you know. And yeah, I learned that you need to live for the moment. And there's so much shit that like you have no idea that could just happen to you at one moment, you know.
Dude, that's crazy.
I think that's important to hear too, because you're this kid who's got the world by the balls. You got all these sponsors. You're just going through life. You don't really realize how good you fucking have it. And then from what I'm hearing, you're basically saying that this avalanche is like the best thing that ever happened to you, which is incredible for people to hear, because there's a lot of ways you can. Obviously, it was traumatic and terrible, but it gave you this new lease on life. And what I kind of wanted to get into is the rehab process. Like, you're right, for Red Bull, then you basically immediately were like, let's hit the fucking gym, right?
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. It was, I remember we were up in Canada, and we couldn't, I was in the hospital for like 6 days or something, and they were trying to give me a private plane home.
Red Bull was.
Yeah, we were trying, well, I couldn't like fly yet, and so I remember like Red Bull, and then my dad, like that's where my dad is just biggest life inspo, because he just was working his ass off to try and get his kid that almost just died home. Like, he was hitting up all his old homies like, hey, do you guys have any links to like a plane? Like, the doctors are saying that if he flies, it was like, I think it's a 2.5 hour flight, I think, from Vancouver to San Diego. And they were like, they were like, yeah, it'd be probably pretty smart if you guys got him a plane so he could lay like all the way home, you know. And I remember the lady, I was like, hey, so when do I get to leave this place? Like, after like day 4 in the hospital, you're just so over it. And I didn't stand. Yeah, it was crazy, dude. I remember them trying to get me a plane home, and that didn't happen. I was like, fuck this, dude. Let's get home. Went, and I had these pain pills, popped some pain pills right before we got on the flight home. Passed out. Woke up like an hour into the flight. Most pain I've ever been in.
Just miserable.
Like, just crying. I was just a little bitch. Like, I was so mad. Like, I was like, this is insane. Like, this plane can't make an emergency landing for me to, like, lay down. Like, I just remember I was all messed up on the perkies and shit. And, like, I got home, and dude, I really, like, couldn't, with injuries, like, when you have a pretty big, tremendous, like, injury, you can't really, like, get into the gym right away. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, dude, I'm going to go home, be in the gym by the end of next week. I'm going to bust this thing out. They're like, it's going to be 8 months until you snowboard, you know? And I was like, no way. There's absolutely no way. And then 2 weeks in, probably, I think I had one of those turtle things on, walked into the gym, and I was actually at my own gym down in Carlsbad, and my trainer, Ryan, he talks to all those homies up at Red Bull, because Red Bull has, like, the most hands-down insane physical therapy rehab training facility up in their headquarters, actually, in Santa Monica. And dude, like, shout out to Red Bull. Like, they have helped me out in so many ways. Like, it is actually insane. Like, right when my x-rays and MRIs got taken up there in the hospital, they, like, sent them down to their back doctor in Newport and was like, these are the actual injuries. Don't let the doctors say anything else. Because, like, you come in one day and they're like, hey, you need to get surgery. And then they come in another day and be like, no, we think it's this fracture in your back. And you're like,
what is it?
My back's broken in 3 places, and I know my spinal cord is floating somewhere real close to that. Like, that's all you're thinking about. And then you're like, wait, can I still feel my toes? Can I still feel my fingers? It's pretty crazy. I have pretty bad nerve damage after all the injuries. It's pretty messed up. My whole right side of my dick and right nut just completely completely numb, dude.
What? So does that mean you can go like a stallion or
dude,
what?
Completely
or you just don't know if it's going to work
like
or not?
2 months.
Okay,
for
it was
2 months.
time sensitive.
But
half boner.
But it comes back. The doctors are like, it could come back whenever.
It comes and goes.
Like, it comes and goes, and it
that
could
happens
be
to a lot of people when they drink a lot of whiskey too, as well. They have the same effect.
Yeah. So pretty crazy. Like, there's just a lot of, like, that's going back to kind of just like a huge wake up call.
You got beat down.
There's a lot of injuries that are like little injuries that are still sticking around, you know? I can't bite into an apple. That's pretty shitty. Mm-hmm.
Because of your upper jaw?
Yeah, I can't bite into fishing line. I'm a huge fisher. Can't bite into fishing line. One of the biggest things that pisses me off.
Why can't you bite into fishing line?
Because all my teeth are fake. Like, these are all just, like
they'll break.
Veneer type deal.
Yeah,
veneers.
veneer. Implants.
You literally hit your face on a rock, right?
Yeah, I had
And
like
you
gnarly. I had
basically got
gnarly.
curbed.
Yeah, I had gnarly like rocks and shit all up in my teeth.
You should give
And
us
then-
some pictures we can put in for the viewers.
Yeah, I got you.
For the
For sure.
I remember getting one of you in the hospital, and you looked played.
Yeah, I
Just
had,
like a homie
like
one
8
going around.
stitches down here, but I was so on the IV drip already when I was getting stitches in my chin. I was just like trying to talk to this guy. I remember it was like 3 a.m. in the ER. I was just like, "How's your day been, man?" Like asking him all these questions.
Because
and
you're on
shit.
some sort of pain drip.
Yeah, but back to like the Red Bull thing, dude. It's like they did so much for that situation, and that's where it's like super, super thankful for them. They really care about their athletes, and they are always doing pretty dope camps.
Did you have
and
health
shit like
insurance?
that. Yeah, I did, and a
Good.
lot of people thought it was free. A lot of people were like, "You got hurt in Canada? Yeah, free healthcare."
No.
I was like, "Nah, I'm an American citizen. I had to pay a fair chunk of change."
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. You're not instantly a Canadian just because you crossed the border.
Yeah, exactly. So
pay any taxes over there.
Yeah. You don't get their system.
So going back to the rehab process, I personally am fascinated with like when people get severely fucked up and then they have this like fire to get back to 100%. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what you had going on, correct?
Yeah, for sure. I remember. Well, dude, it's kind of it's crazy. I remember I got back from the hospital and I was down in SoCal. My best friend just won the Olympics. He was on the highest of the high. Like, homie just won the Olympics. He's got this gold medal. He's got these rings. He's traveling, going to New York. I mean, shout out Red.
Let's give him an air horn.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Like, he's doing all this, and I was just I remember I was traveling with Red. He made the Olympic team, and then I went and I was filming actually in Europe, and he wins the Olympics, and then I'm just freshly out of almost losing my life. Like, just broke my back in a bunch of spots. I got 6-7 months until I snowboard. He's just on an ultimate high. He worked his ass off, and he won. He won the Olympics. Like, that is absolutely insane. And I was working my ass off, telling myself that, and doing what my dad always says. He said, keep working hard. But really, we were just partying, raging, going to all these events. And Red was absolutely killing it. And then I remember I came home, and Red got a house in Southern California, and I had a turtle shell on my back. I couldn't really do much in the gym. I couldn't. I went and saw my trainer. I went up to Red Bull, but you can't, like, my back was broken in 3 spots, so you have to, like, I was on my couch, first off, for another, like, 2 to 3 weeks, and then I could get in the car. And once I could get in a car, I would drive 5 minutes to Red's house that he was renting, and shout out Click Culture, Blake Axelson. I was just, I remember I would just paint in the garage every single day, drink a bunch of booze, smoke some spliffs, and just get fucked up and paint and have a great time. And I remember that I didn't drink for probably like 2 to 3 weeks after my accident. I was like, whoa, that was crazy. I don't think I should drink anymore. Like, it crossed my head. I was like, I don't really know. Like, I don't know if that's really the best, like, decision, And then I got caught up in Red, like, me and Red were just, like, we were living in SoCal in the summer. I could barely even move. I was just chilling in the backyard getting tan, and they were in the pool. And I remember we were just drinking twisted teas all summer and having a great time. But really, I feel like that's where it's like that was probably the lowest of the low of my entire life. I remember it was my 18th birthday on August, and I got hurt in April. And by the time August came around, I was already in the gym, and I was already getting a lot of physical therapy, but not doing much. Just kind of like moving the legs and stretching the back and like doing super mellow stuff, doing like trying to squat again. And like, it's pretty crazy. Like, your back, when you break your back, that is everything that your body uses to like move off of the couch, to move out of a chair. It's pretty crazy. So I feel like when I was down in SoCal, I remember it was my 18th birthday, and we got insanely fucked up in August, and I was mid rehab, you know, like I was trying to strive to like October, to the trip that I just came back like from Sauce Fe. I was trying to get to Sauce Fe. I was like, that was 6 months from my injury. I'm gonna prove that I can do it in 2 months less than what they were saying, and I'm gonna go at least be able to snowboard in Sauce Fe, you know. And then yeah, my birthday got insanely hammered, and then my dad 2 days later I remember he kind of did like an intervention on me and was like, yo, there's a lot of people pretty worried about you out there. I remember, I'll remember this day to the day I die. Like, we were drinking coffee, and he said, hey, have you ever thought about stopping drinking? And I just remember, like, there's no way that's going to happen. There's absolutely no physically possible way that is ever going to happen with the sport I do. Like, I'm going to get judged insane. Like, I'm literally going to get judged by every single one of my friends. And then I remember my dad was like, yeah, a lot of your really, 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 really close friends from Southern California are really worried about you. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, who? Like, tell me. Like, right now. Like, I'm about to call them and
I want to hear this.
Yeah, like, what are they saying? No, like, I'm fine. And I remember, he kind of called me out and was like, dude, I think you should really maybe stop thinking about, like, drinking. I think it's a pretty big damper on your life, and I think that you could be a lot more well-off and successful without it, you know? And then I remember that day I was out the beach getting hammered with a couple of my other homies down from Carlsbad, and I remember I got back to my car. I had a missed call from Steve Reska at Red Bull. I had a missed call from Frankie Chapman at Burton. Ooh. And I don't think, I don't.
Did they know your dad talked to you?
I don't know.
So maybe everything was just coming.
I don't think so, though. Yeah. I don't think my dad was like, yo, like.
People can tell when you're fucked up, though. Yeah. People can, like, they I feel like they probably knew. Like, we were having a lot of parties at Red's house.
If people were talking,
and like you guys have been down to SoCal. Like,
yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of snowboarders down there.
Yeah,
and like, there's a lot of
really anywhere you go.
Yeah, exactly. There is
in the scene.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of really, really beautiful girls down there. And I remember at the time I was dating the pretty hot chick, and we were having a great time. Me, Red, and he was dating Haley. He's still dating Haley, and I was dating my girlfriend at the time, and we were just going on double dates everywhere, living, and then and then it all and it's really cool because I'm super thankful for that day of my dad talking to me and telling me to think about that, and then I'm so thankful for the calls I got from my sponsors, because they were like, hey, you have one opportunity to make this career the best you can possibly have. And that's like where I want to go in a little bit and talk about how, like, it's pretty insane. You get like 5 to 8 years, I feel like, is a pretty damn good career in snowboarding, you know? And that's where you're like in the best shape of your life, where you can go and compete and I really want to try and go and work my ass off in competitive snowboarding, and also work my ass off in filming, because I believe that you can do both. And I think it's really cool that there are a few people out there trying to do both, you know? And my dad was telling me, he was like, hey, I think that if you have such an addictive personality that if you stay on the sauce, he's like, I think that's going to close a lot of doors for you. It's getting to that point. And then I remember Frankie and them called me and told me that you have, like, he was like, you pretty much need to get your shit together. That's kind of long story short. And they knew what was going on, because I feel like back out, like, there's lots of parties and shit like that, and people in the industry know what you're doing at all times, and that's just how it is. Like, it's in
the social media age.
Yeah,
it's the norm. But that's
and I'm super thankful that I feel like I kind of learned that at like a pretty young age, because I feel like it has helped me. And yeah, now I'm sitting here in the garage.
You got a lot more than 5 to 8 years, though.
2 years. But dude, I
5 to 8 years, you're gonna be like 22.
Well, I mean, yeah.
How old are you right now, for the record?
Yeah, how old are you right now?
I'm 20,
19, 20?
I mean, yeah. I mean, 5. I just meant like 5 to 8 years.
Maybe
like,
contests. Video
really,
part, though, you could
really
look at
crushing it.
This guy over here, JP Walker.
Really, really crushing it. I feel like your prime is those 5 to 8 years where you can go out and make the most money, and you can go out and do this. Because I've been snowboarding since I was 3 years old.
Dude, that's what's crazy. You started
and I'm
so
20.
Through 3.
Yeah.
I'm 21.
You've already got so many years where some people.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Jill. She started like 4 years ago or something.
Really?
Yeah, she started pretty late.
Very impressive.
I don't know if
that's
exactly
really,
4,
really
but
cool.
I want to
Not
bring
very
back
many
to this subject of your pops. Is he sober?
Oh yeah.
So that's cool. My
25 years.
My dad also, he doesn't drink as well, and he's kind of. I've had some similar talks. I like the way he phrased it. He basically said, my dad told me, he's like, you have a quota. Basically, you know, we have alcoholism in our genes. I know you have them in your genes. I've heard you talk about that. And he was like, if you can either quit, you're going to hit your quota one day. You either got to quit drinking or you're going to fuck up your life. It's one or the other. And it was like kind of phrased. Like I always knew there was like kind of an expiration date on my drinking to where like at one day I was going to happen. And what I was wondering, as somebody that's been sober for 2 years now, right? What are the pros and cons? Like how has your life improved since quitting the sauce?
I mean, I was pretty young when I was on the sauce, and I still got hangovers.
Mm-hmm.
I was drinking enough to get hangovers and feel like absolute shit the day after a big night at a contest. Or even just
like you'd
in a
party
house.
the night of a big contest.
Oh, yeah.
Wake up and just feel it.
Yeah. I mean,
Even though you were 17.
You're just so hit, you know, and I feel like alcohol at the end of the day is probably not the best for your body.
Fact.
I mean,
You think?
I
Not for
don't
healing
know.
either, right?
I don't really see any pluses for it, and I don't judge. I love hanging out and being social and hanging out with all the homies, and love making sure that all of my best friends are getting home safe. Like
Dope to have that driver.
that is the best feeling ever.
Shouts to DD.
Yeah.
Like that is super dope to be able to make sure all your homies are getting home safe. And I don't know. I just never. Now looking back at it, I'm like, wow, I don't really see any pluses from all that sauce. Yeah, it's a very, very fun time, but I wake up every day now and I have a good time. I make myself have a good time in whatever I'm doing. If I'm skating a slappy curb or skating a flat bar in the street, or if I'm going out on my snowmobile at 5 a.m. and going to sled all the way out to Rutherford and Whistler, 60 miles or whatever it is. You're just like, I wake up and make sure that I have a good day.
You guys are getting it in life.
Yeah.
Your
Like,
crew too.
Yeah, it's. I'm just super thankful, and I feel like back to my dad, like I would not be literally anything without him, because he is like made some of the best decisions I feel like for me as a human being. You know, like.
Hearing that from your dad was probably hard.
Yeah, just so thankful to have a dad that really cares about his son and like really just wants the best, you know? Like huge shout out.
Give him an air horn and a gunshot.
But yeah, I mean, and it's hard because you get it. You understand like the addictive feeling. Like like it's pretty crazy, dude.
Well,
you get really sucked in, and you really can just like go off the deep end.
Going back to this, there is a lot of people that can drink, and it's fine, and they should drink, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's certain people who you just see, you're like, I don't think that guy should drink. And
yeah.
I'm one of those people. And that's, but you know, it's a good gauge is a good gauge. People are, you know, when you start talking about sobriety, a lot of times people are like, they kind of look inward and they're like, do I have a problem? And a good gauge is like, are you fucking your life up? Like, are you fucking up your relationships? Are your friends and family worried about you?
Exactly.
Those are the warning signs. Like, oh shit, this, you know. But other than that, most people can go out, fucking slam some beers. Have one for me and Brock, because we can't. That's
sure.
what I'm saying.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
True.
And Stony Buds,
And
because
for
he
me.
gets drug tested.
God damn. For sobriety.
Okay, well, I think it's that time, bud.
Yeah, we're a little late actually on name that video part.
Yeah. How you feeling, Brock? We're gonna get into.
Oh, here we go. Hopefully I get it.
Name That Video part is presented by the Dew Tour. which you got a podium at last year.
Yep.
Would you get second?
Yeah, I got second.
That was sick, dude.
That was a crazy day.
Gotta put down the heat.
Yeah, that's dope.
That was a really fun day, for sure, riding with all the homies. It snowed like 4 feet the day before the event. The whole course got buried. It was a pretty crazy deal.
So what I was wondering is, what's your confidence level, 0 to 10, as far as name that video part?
I don't know. I'll give myself a 5, maybe.
Coming in at a 5, clean.
5.
I don't know. Halfway.
Okay, here we go.
Oh,
Beanie Man? Is that Beanie Man?
I actually don't know who the artist is.
I might say Beanie Man.
who is that? Is that Stevie Bell?
No.
Oh, it's close though.
Correct on the movie. I'm just gonna say he was. Let's say he's maybe somebody you.
Oh
look
wait,
up
no,
to.
wait. That I think.
Somebody you looked up to.
Oh, that was that. Can I get a replay?
Yeah.
It's John Jackson, but I'm having a hard time with what movie. Is it Fuck It? Or is it it's no, it's Forever.
That is correct.
Yep.
First of all, wild song.
I think it's Bounty Killer.
He puts it down in that one though.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
the double
Sanjay
back
loves
rodeo
that
1080.
Rasta
Dude, the
stuff.
double back rodeo 1080, hardest trick in snowboarding. Hands down.
And then he does that rowdy front 10 dub ski, and he's doing the shoot where he always through the cliff and everything else.
yeah, and yeah.
Dude, he was going beast. Well, you know what you got yourself?
Yeah, you're a winner. You're a winner today, son.
Winner, chicken dinner.
What you got yourself is a Igloo Playmate cooler
Wow.
filled with bomb hole merch. You got a mug, you got a hoodie. I wouldn't shake it
You
too
don't
much. That
shake it
porcelain
too
might
hard.
crack. You got some stickers.
Dude,
You know,
thanks, boys.
congrats.
Congrats on the win.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous about that. I was
lot
like,
of
if
people
it's
come in
not
nervous.
if it's not a John Jackson song, I'm pretty fucked. But yeah.
I'm going to give a shout out to Alex Andrews because he said he had some John Jay part on repeat on
Oh,
some
yeah.
trip. So I was like, all right, I'll find a John Jay part.
Yeah, huge dude. John Jackson.
You know what I want to
ultimate
say?
legend.
SoCal, like, he's kind of a Junior Bacon John Jackson.
Yeah, you kind of are a little bit.
Dude, I actually rode with John Jay quite a bit when I was younger.
When you're a little kid.
Not like really, because I was 7 years old, but like I saw it. Like we like kind of knew who each other were because like shout out Mammoth, Peter Morning, and
nice.
and like Greg Weaver and all those homies we used to just do some like photo shoots and do like hot. You guys remember Hot Laps?
I do remember those edits.
I do,
They're
yeah.
park edits.
It used to be a movie and it'd play at WCI, West Coast Invitational.
Yeah, that's a great
All
event.
right.
They used to do like movies, and I just remember John Jay and Mason Aguirre and all those homies would always be like filming riding around Mammoth in June when it was super dope.
That's beautiful. Well, we're still in Name That
We
Video
got one
part.
more song.
So
Oh,
this
we
is
are?
for the listeners, or viewers. They get to guess this one. You guys know the drill. Here we go. Bud, do you know that one?
Nope. not even close on that one.
Well, thank you guys for playing a little Name That Video part. All right. Well, let's talk about snowboarders that do contests and also film video parts. You're saying you want to be that person. You did Joy. You killed it. And you did a bunch of good contest results as well. You're one of those dudes. So
And OneWorld.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy. It's really keeps you on your toes, and huge shout out to all these people for making it happen. You know, I'm super lucky and where I'm at right now, and I'm super fortunate to be able to go out and have a snowmobile and have a truck to be able to get to all these dope places and be able to really be able to do it. You know, I'm super fortunate to be able to go to this contest, do this contest for a week, and then be like, all right, I'm kind of banking on this result to see if I can go on this trip or not, you know? And I remember actually last year filming for OneWorld. Last year was an insane year, actually, starting it off. I was up in Whistler doing kind of a USASA type event that I needed like 60 points or something to be able to drop into a contest. And then I went from Whistler down to X Games where I was like third alternate or something. Got in as an alternate, and I remember Zach Nigro, shout out Burton, thank you for everything you do. Thank you, Jake, for setting an insane path for all of us to be on. And yeah, I just remember Zach hit me up. He was like, yo, do you want to go to Japan to film with Red and Zoe and Kelly Clark and try to go out there for a few days and then fly back from Denver? We went Denver, Japan. We're in Japan and then flew back for Dew Tour because Dew Tour was back in Colorado. And I remember I was banking. I was like, dude, I kind of want to start doing better in contests. Like, I haven't had the best luck after my accident. I kind of took a year off to kind of just film for joy, you know. And I remember I qualified first into finals at X Games last year, and I was like, book that ticket. I'm going to Japan for sure. Like, I don't even care what happens. Like, I really like this course, and I hope that I can try and do better, you know, and I'm riding. I really like this course, and that's where it's like kind of like you need to, if you're really like vibing and having fun with this course, that's where it's kind of like sick because you can just like stay more positive and stay a little bit more motivated than other people that are just kind of struggling and shit like that, you know. I feel like, but yeah, I feel that doing both snowboarding in the competition scene and the film scene is like a whole different ballgame. Because it's like, I don't know, it's really hard for me to hear all these filmers and all of these writers kind of saying that they should be getting more and they should be doing this and they should be getting this. And it's just like kind of hard for me to look that in the eyes when you're standing at the top of this run and you're like, what trick should I try right now? All right, well, I got this big air coming up. I should probably try like a back 16 or a cab 16 or maybe a switchback 16. Who knows? Like, fuck, if you want to try and beat Mark, you got to have every single goddamn trick in the bag, you know? So it's just like, you can't even compare at all. It's so, and it just really is kind of hurtful because all of us contest kids aren't talking shit on Sam Taxwood doing all this dope stuff in Landline and doing all, and like filming like insane good video parts back-to-back gears. And like, it's kind of rough when you hear, like, you know, like, video kids are talking shit on contest kids. That's just snowboarding, you know? Like, it's
kind of always been like that.
And it's kind of always been like that, and it's really, really hard. And I don't know what it is. I feel like
I'll tell you.
There might be like a little bit of like some insecurity there. I don't know.
We're going deep dive psychology.
Deep dive.
I
like this.
I agree. It is insecurity.
It is.
100%.
Like, and it's just like, it's kind of like, I love watching all of these movies. I was just in Denver for the OneWorld premiere and was watching I watched the new Videograss movie. I watched the new Absinthe movie. I watched Tangle. I watched quite a bit of movies, and it's sick. Like, everybody's doing snowboarding in their own way, which is so rad. And it's such a bummer because snowboarding is like, who knows what's about to go down with all these magazines and stuff like that. Like, it's really hard, and I feel like we all kind of need to just come together because it's really, like, it does, at the end of the day, it does not matter who you're trying to impress. It does not matter on this ride, I'm trying to beat this rider, or I'm trying to do that. Like, you need to be out there snowboarding for yourself. And there's no other ifs, ands, or buts or way around that situation. Like, we all are lucky as fuck to be able to go and strap into a snowboard and get to hit this ledge into this concrete parking lot, into a pump bump, into this down rail. We're all lucky to be able to go and do a pow slash on a resort. Like, it's just like kind of a bummer, you know? I feel like
I think the money is a direct equation of eyes on the event. So contest dudes just get paid more because more people are seeing that than a hardcore jib movie, you know?
People get salty when you're making biscuits.
That
has a lot to do with it.
And true, yeah.
But I think
it's only the top people that are making money in contests, right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, if you're
like,
not,
you got to be podium or else.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, dude. Like, you have this small list, right, of these riders that you get invited to do tour, and you get invited to X Games, and Burton they do a great job at kind of opening up the book a little bit, and I think they invite like 35 riders or something like that to the U.S. Open. But X Games is just like such a cut, dude. But you grow up watching that shit,
So you know.
and every single person out there that is watching this bomb hole right now, dude, you guys grew up watching X Games and watching movies where Travis Rice was probably in it at a young age, or Shaun White, and they were doing the same thing that we're doing right now. They were in contests, and they were filming some. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like they were like, you try to work your ass off to get into X Games and be on the ESPN show. You know, I feel like that's kind of what you try to do as a kid, and if you aren't in that 12 to 16 person cut, then it's really hard. And then you go, oh, okay, I just got 6th. I probably will be getting some skrill, and you're like, you get like a $2,000 check. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, that's not going to pay the bills.
I should have tried a little harder. I should have tried again. I don't know. You know, like it was just like if you're not on the podium, it's definitely you're not getting that much.
Not enough, really.
But then that's where I'm super fortunate for everything you guys have done. Was like when I was younger, like 15 to 18, it was like I was looking forward to going to like the launch, and I was looking forward to going to Super Park because I was like, oh yeah, like big shit, it's about to go down.
That was always the coolest thing, and for us to be able to meet the new kids like you guys come through there, it's such a cool thing.
Yeah, the launch was so dope.
Yeah, props to Bridges for making that all happen.
An air horn.
Yeah,
for sure.
And that's the reason I meet all you guys at such a young age, and it's so cool.
Well,
it's definitely the shit.
Going back to what you're saying too on that subject, it's you look at snowboarding, right? You got your backcountry snowboarders that build cheese wedges. They're talking shit on the guys turning. The turning guys are talking shit on the rails. The rail guys are talking shit on the contest. And it's just like the tale is old as fucking time. People, that's just natural. People hate. It's sad for what it is. But when it comes to the contest stuff, it's like, you know, Danny said it. It's like a 16 is harder than a back 7. People are like, I don't like the big spins. It's like, you think you guys can't do a back 5? You can't do a back 7? Like, watch practice. You guys are shit yourself. It's, you know, so I do think that sometimes, you know, I could, rightfully so, you guys get the shit under the stick when you watch somebody's video part maybe, and you're like, you know, that was fucking easy. But it's different. They're just, you can't compare. They're two different beasts.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. I feel like it's honestly a really hard topic to talk about in snowboarding for me at this point.
Because you do both?
Yeah, and it's like, and that goes back to where you were saying, like, one of the most motivated riders is like, dude, after my accident, I don't care. Like, I don't care what I'm doing. Like, this year I want to try and maybe go on a street trip or two just to, like, kind of see potentially what that goes about, you know? I feel like I'd be down to go try and hit a rail and get a spot all dialed and get kicked out by the cops or something. That'd be pretty dope, you know?
But, you're looking forward to that.
But then, like,
go with Buds. He's like a magnet.
I'm a cop magnet.
He's a cop magnet.
And then, yeah, and then but then it's like you go into the backcountry, and backcountry, like, I have so much respect for Travis Rice and Sage and all these people that are super involved in trying to make, like, and trying to, like, really go hard at this whole, like, backcountry thing. Like, it's really, really sick to see. And, like, Ben Ferg, like, he has some insane shots. And Mickle and Danny and, like, all those guys that are kind of, like, just really trying to push the backcountry level of riding, like, huge like, I'm so inspired with those guys. And then you, like, turn around and do a complete 180, and you're like, dude, I'm so inspired by, like, what Jed's doing, and I'm so inspired by, like, what Lewiff's always putting out there. And, like, it's just insane to me to think, like, how could these kids that are talking shit on, like, all these competitive riders or whatever, or backcountry riders, like, everybody is just absolutely putting it up right now in snowboarding. Like, there's a lot of really, really good snowboarding going down right now, which is really, really sick to see.
That's a fact.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like, I just watched the Tangle movie, dude, and the girl, Desiree, Nirvana, and Jill.
Kill it, huh?
Give him an air horn.
Absolutely put it up. Desiree, opener, say what?
Oh, we got a little leak. We got a little leaky
little
pipe.
inside
Give us some
info.
info.
Super dope.
Well,
little leaky pipe.
Speaking of leaky pipes, we got OneWorld exclusive bomb hole leaky pipes coming at you
You gotta see this.
from the Burton movie, OneWorld. And for the people listening, he's dropping into a jump here in the backcountry. Where's this thing at, Brock?
That was up in Whistler right before COVID hit. Me and Red and
Dude,
Mikey.
lofty booter.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is a
What,
jacket.
dude?
Yeah, we were. That was last couple days filming. We were definitely trying to push the limits for sure.
How did that photo look? Is all I can think when I see that shot.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, Stan knows.
Oh, true. Dude, it looked like you went huge.
We got a bottom angle, too.
Same
It's
booter?
for the listeners, it's a giant
my
front
God,
three
dude.
on like a huge roller gap in Whistler.
Let go of the grab a little early, dude. The step downs are so gnarly.
Just dropping out of the sky.
Step downs.
Yeah,
are so
you went
gnarly.
huge, very lofty.
Especially when you're dealing with the
You wearing an all white kit there?
no all
Kind of a mint.
Oh, mint.
minty.
That shot was pretty mint.
Ew.
Thank you.
Well, that was dope. Who'd you build that kicker with? Because it looked like you guys put the extra block in.
Yeah, that was me and Mikey Cicerelli and Red, and we were out there with like Aaron Leyland and
Johnny Turbo?
I forget who else we were out there, but I think that's like Kai's shot. Red's brother was out there too. I think like Haley might have been out there with us too.
Haley hit
maybe.
that jump?
No, I don't think so.
Were you scared on the Rosham? Because that was the first tracks for the
That
listeners.
was first tracks, huh? Or was it hidden?
Yeah,
it was on that second
was,
shot.
That was first track. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like really like kind of getting like giddy and shit. It's really
You do?
fun. I really like that adrenaline rush of like this could go one way or the other. You know, that's a good feeling to have in snowboarding, and that's why it's like kind of sick. Like in the competition scene, you're always like kind of trying to like improve your snowboarding and learn new shit. That's like really, really scary. So that stuff's that I love the Rosham filming. That's like a must.
Not all people know.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people don't know how it goes down.
For a lot of people that don't know, Rosham is like rocks, paper, scissors, and that's how you decide who gets to go first on a backcountry jump. So you contest guys show up to work on Rosham, where some people are scared, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, ultimately, when you're filming a video part, I feel like that's part of it.
Some people choose to go second,
crew.
though, right?
Oh yeah.
Some people
Oh,
choose to
yeah.
go first. It just depends on the person.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
You just want to win.
It is really funny though when you're out there and if you're building like a big ass jump and you kind of got to work for like a day or two building the lip. You're like just out there just strictly building. There always is that conversation like halfway through when you're like starting to look at the jump. You're like, this thing's got like 4 to 5 on it. Like we probably should keep going. All right, who's hitting this thing first? Like let's start talking. And then it kind of is in everyone's head. You're like, oh shit, who's hitting this thing first?
You know what's a good move too is like I've pulled this one before where like you like, yeah, I'm down to go first, or like you win and you win Rosham and you opt to go first and you're like, yeah, no, this thing's chill. Like you're just totally lying though. You're like, I'm fucking so scared right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude, especially when they're like for like filming in the backcountry when there's like trees and shit like around. You're like, dude, if I shit hook right or if I shit hook left a little bit right now, there's a tree there. There's this drop here. There's a rock there. Like, and I'm sure that's probably I haven't really filmed in the streets, and I'm sure there's also consequences like that. I mean, I know
It just
there is.
depends on
I've
the
watched,
sash, you know?
I've watched videos of like Jill, she did some dope stuff this year. I don't want to give it away because I don't know when this is coming out. But Tangle, there's some dope consequential clips in there where like you have to come off early to like not hit a pole or something at the end of a rail. Those spots are pretty dope, really consequential. Because if you go left, you just run into a fence. Or if you just get too locked in, you go right into the pole at the bottom.
The doer dies.
Was it Mammut I just saw that went through like a full-on hole, Jib? Like he gets on something and then drops into like a triangular.
Yes, that was Mammut.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
French Canadians are on.
Yeah,
some
they're
shit.
on the good level.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We got another OneWorld exclusive leak. This is a park shoot.
Oh,
from,
this is we got two different sessions.
Yeah, here we go. That's kind of letting the big dog eat right there. That's what that is.
Just letting that park background shine, huh?
What was that for the people listening that can't see the clip?
Like me, I can see it, but still don't know what it is because I
That was a cab
can't
double,
count that high.
That was a cab double 12.
Nice.
You know when a cab 12 looks like a cab 9, that's a good sign.
Yeah, for sure. I just had a fun trip over in Sauce Fe. You kind of like go over there to like get on.
This is from Sauce Fe?
No, this is from up in Hood. We did a little park shoot up
This
there.
summer.
Yeah, this summer. It was pretty cool to have everybody together and riding again. It was pretty sick. Oh,
Are you guys snacking mid-conversation? I
yeah,
like
you
it.
want some gummies?
No, I'm okay.
Fresh from the airport.
Oh,
Brought some gummy worms.
Chris is going to get on some sugar.
That's my shit right
He doesn't eat a lot of sugar lately, though.
It depends on the day.
Kid's going to be going crazy after a couple of these bad boys.
Well, going back to OneWorld, if you're interested in the movie, we got a link in the show notes for the trailer and for the Burton OneWorld website. And Brock is sitting on some heat. He's already seen it. You got a leak. I can't really ask, but who's got your favorite shit in the movie?
Dude, the movie is pretty cool. The writing and the editing, they did a really, really good job. It's insane to say that I'm a part of a Burnt movie now, and like
Yeah, that's a big deal.
yeah, I'm super, super stoked. It's definitely something that I've always strived for, and being a part of that brand for a long time. I think I got on Burton when I was like 7.
How does one get on Burton at 7?
Yeah,
Just
I'm wondering
Well,
the same
that-
thing.
For the viewers and the listeners that are looking to get sponsored, that's 7. How's it work?
Yeah, back then it was like Burton really did. They really put a lot into that Burton Smalls team, you know.
They
And it
sniff
was
The
them out.
bobbleheads, the little
They
babies out
sniff
there.
those kids out, huh?
Yeah, for sure. And they did like I remember going to a Mammoth shoot when I was like 7 or 8. You know, I was like riding with Ben Ferg and
Basically tryouts.
yeah, and Hans and Niels were there, and I remember
They rode for Burton back then.
Yeah, oh yeah, and then like Harrison, I forget his last
The Mud
name.
Dicks.
Yep. And then and like Ben Watts, it was super sick, dude. It was really, really cool. And back then, I feel like they probably had a little more budge and could put money into the new like Smalls group, you know, and like kids that are coming in. And now I'm really, really stoked to be a part of that, because back then I was just always like looking at Terrier and like I remember Danny and Kevin and those guys had that sick ass park shoot at like that Big B. You remember that shoot from
That
Big
was
B.
pretty
up
sick.
in North Star from the B movie? And I just remember always watching like those videos and being really, really impressed. And now to have some shots in OneWorld, I was really, really stoked. It was an insane year. Got to have some really, really sick sessions with Dan. I've filmed a lot with Danny and Mark and Red, and yeah, it was really, really fun and super stoked. And I didn't really get to film much with Ben and Mickle, but
They were just on a different crew, huh?
yeah, they kind of just went up to Canada for like 5 months and just
Smart move, though.
just stacked. Like I'm psyched.
Backcountry dogs.
I'm really stoked.
Does it
for-
shine in the part? Like, can you tell they kind of went up and did their own
Oh
thing?
yeah, for sure. But even like they did, the editor Chip did such a good job at like it's a kind of a movie that just makes you want to go snowboard, you know. And it's sick because there's like all this riding from Newfoundland with like Maria and Ethan and Niels, and then you have like right into the next segment, and it's Ben and those boys like up into Alaska. Like I think the crew in Alaska this year was Mickle, Ben, Danny, Kimmy, I think, and it was really, really dope. Really
So it's
cool to
trip-based.
watch. Yep, yeah, trip based, and yeah, it was really sick. Keep an eye out on the Alaska part for sure. They definitely, I mean, as a lot of you guys just saw Mark's cover from up there, they got that jump session is some pretty insane clips with quite a bit of hype.
Yeah, it
for
looked
sure.
like a really cool jump
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, it got the cover.
Yeah, for sure.
Very dope. I got a Patreon question. If this doesn't make sense after, we'll take this out. But this kid's claiming, Travis Kerr, he's talking about methods to get on the. He's saying most of the people on Burton kind of have a very similar method where they grab up by the nose, but you actually grab between your feet. And he says respect, But is that going to
Yo.
affect you later because you're not doing that traditional Burton method?
A great question.
Yeah, it's a very good question.
That is an awesome
Yeah,
question.
and then he also wants to know.
Give an air horn.
He also wants to know. Do you have any strong opinions on a proper method, hand placement, and what looks best?
Oh yeah. Yeah, shout out James Jackson. A lot of you probably know him from Up in Hood back in the day. And he taught me I remember spending like a whole day like learning how to do a proper method. And that's how he told me how it was. And I feel like it's pretty crazy because a lot of Burton riders do that method up above the binding, and they all make it look very good, and they're all my homies, and I all love their methods. But I personally think that that method above the binding is kind of a Euro method.
It's called the Euro method, right?
It's called the Euro method. Like, straight up. It's like, Nico and Terry run that. Like, literally, like...
If you don't have a European passport, are you kind of not qualified, would you say?
I don't know. This is a really hard topic to talk about.
Yeah, it's
honestly,
probably because it's probably sensitive. People get sensitive about it.
People get
Where's
very
Ferg grab?
sensitive. I think Ferg does both, honestly.
Does he? Dude,
yeah.
that kid's got a method.
I think, though, like, back in the snowboard, like, the cover that he got,
Yes.
I think doing the method maybe at...
You're saying he can do both, huh? At
think
Seven Springs, maybe?
I think he got the Seven Springs one, and then I think he also got the one when we all were up at Hood Meadows.
Oh, I think you're
Remember
right.
that
I think
hip
he got
session?
both.
That was crazy. And I feel like, I think I recall one of them maybe being inside. But
I have to check that out.
I'd say inside if I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm saying inside the
Inside. I just know he goes huge.
And then he
looks
can
good.
switch it because he's such a G that he can go and ride natty lines, and he can do the method outside the binding.
We got to back this up a little bit because you said you learned this method from James Jackson. You got to walk us through this.
Yeah, walk us through the
I
technique.
want to learn.
Well, I think James Jackson taught Ben Ferg how to do a method.
Wow, so he's the root.
He's the method whisperer.
James Jackson's the Red Bull coach, just so you guys know if you're not familiar. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, he actually like was coaching Ben and Gabe when they were super young. They would always come down to Mammoth and stay at the crib and go ride the June half pipe and the Mammoth half pipe. And I think that back then is when James probably taught Ben how to do the method. Because I remember we were on the Burton Small shoot at Mammoth, and there's a shot in that Warren Miller movie of Ben doing a method on the last jump, and he's like 13, wearing this orange jacket with like a white helmet, goggles on, and just like, it's pretty sick because dude, like if you think of Ben Ferg, you think of like amazing method.
Amazing. That's what I think, yeah.
Which is super sick. And I feel like James taught him obviously pretty well, and then according to him, he got respect on my method.
Yeah, he
and
said,
so,
"Man, respect Travis on Patreon."
Yeah, so
Props.
I feel like James definitely has the correct way.
Will you tell us the key? What's the key?
I don't know. I think for me, the key is kind of like going up the lip off your heels, like kind of come in at a diagonal. And for me, I'm kind of like a late poker. Like you got it, like it, and it's super, super hard to do a method on a big ass jump when it's really windy, because you're always trying to do a method at the super park jump. But like, I don't know. For me, it's really, really hard to do a good method on a big jump when it's really, really windy. The prime method jumps like 60 to 70 feet, no wind, and you can like really just like hold into it. I don't know. I think for me too is also just like being super patient. Like being super patient and just let the melon like come into your hands and then work on that extension. But if you go too hard, you can really, I've like kind of like messed up my ribs and shit. Like doing
You want to make sure you're loose. If you do it too early in the morning, you fuck up your back.
Yeah,
Is that true?
happens. Yeah, it's happened to me too.
If you're gonna go learn a method, you need make sure you're like definitely like probably 10
Loosened up.
laps into the park for sure. Like
That's really good advice
Yeah.
for the listeners and viewers right there.
Dude,
Yeah.
I have a clip of you from Dew Tour practice last year doing a method I filmed that is unreal that we will play while you're talking about this method.
That's
it's,
awesome.
It's a heater.
sick.
I'll find it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
It's got a good method, huh?
So you got the keel edge and I'm not trying to kiss too much ass, but this is in my opinion, because I can't personally do this, the methods where people go up, they hold melon, boom, and then they kick it out. That is so much sicker than like the donkey kick behind the back of your head and then like arched back. Depending on the feature,
sure.
But the held melon, it depends on the feature. You know, if a hip or a quarter pipe.
Yeah, it does. I was just.
It really, it depends on a hip, quarter pipe.
Because if you're at it 5 years ago when you're trying to get in this hip session at Super Park, Bridges
those
is up.
hips were scary too.
Bridges is up there just chirping your ear off if you fuck that lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and everybody out there that has been to a launch or a Super Park, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, for the layman's, basically, when Bridges sets the line, you're not allowed to deviate on the way up, left or right, like come off early or go anywhere. If you got to set the line, ride the line, and that's basically you follow it, or else you might get shoulder tapped.
You have to make your line. Your last turn has to be like within 50 feet before the lip because you want that line to be completely straight up the whole thing.
Or else you're kicked out.
Yeah, and if it gets jacked, you're out of the session.
You're yelled at, you're out of the session, and you'll hear about it for the next 10 years.
Bridges is giving you a tap, and then the next year after that, you probably are still going to be tapped out of the session because you fucked up from the year before.
He'll remember. He'll be like, I remember you ruined the line last year at Seven Springs, so you're not going to hit the hip this year.
Yeah. Yep.
Truth.
People like when we talk about methods. That's a fun.
It's a good topic.
It's a fun topic, dude.
Oh yeah,
it is a fun topic.
Back to the hip. It's also pretty hard. Much more respect to Ferg for being able to just do one of the best methods on jump.
Huge.
In the pipe and on a hip because it definitely changes. Like for me, my method is definitely a lot different than on a jump in the half pipe. You know, it's like way harder. But I love riding half pipe. And
you think it's harder on hips and pipes?
Love riding tranny and things like that. But, yeah, I think it's way easier to do it off of a jump and kind of use that heel edge going up.
Disagree.
I was going to say some people probably would disagree with that.
When you're on a hip, you have to go correct way. You're supposed to go straight up it off of zero edge. So it's kind of hard to give it that that nice
the weight on the heel edge,
you know.
That makes sense.
I'd say, and personally, half pipe's the easiest one for me.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like you could. I mean, I definitely have done some good ones in the pipe. I feel like, but not like
of course.
Ones that I feel like I've done compared to a jump. You know, I
yeah.
feel like, and that's where it's sick because every single snowboarder is different and everybody has different feelings on their snowboard.
Truth. I got one more Patreon question. Should I shoot it off?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's from our boy, Big Air Jer. He's a Jared Elson.
Give him an air horn.
Is a Patreon member, which is pretty exciting.
He's got a good method as well.
He does.
Yep.
He says, I'd like to ask Brock about his first snowmobile ramp.
Oh, my God. Filming for Beta up in Whistler. My dad is a general contractor, runs a construction company, can fix absolutely anything. And I was running the year when I was staying at your house, I was running that black Tacoma.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have a sled deck or anything, and I ride a Polaris, and so my front skis are like half an inch or something wider than a Ski-Doo, and Blatt was telling me, he's like, dude, I know Blake Paul runs I think he runs the Ski-Doo in just the back of his Tacoma. It'll be completely fine. And so I got the Polaris, realized that my snowmobile didn't fit in the back of my truck, and so my dad made me this sick-ass little, like, deck that was in the back of my Tacoma where it was all flush. So then my skis could kind of go up on the wheel wells, you know, because my skis couldn't go around the wheel well. And then we were up in Whistler first trip, and I had actually a ramp kind of like you do that looks like you, like, load your...
An aluminum snowmobile ramp.
Like an aluminum snowmobile ramp, but it was, like, shitty aluminum. I think my dad made the ramp from, like, Lowe's. It was really, really dope. I was like, dude, this thing is...
Made sick, but not the best material.
Yeah, I was like, dude, this thing should work, maybe. I don't really know, though. And I remember when we got to the trailhead or whatever, I just, like, backed it up off of my truck. It, like, went out, had a dope day. came back. I was with Jared, Nick, and Gabe, and Tyler Orton, and we took out my ramp. They loaded up their sleds like all quick, and I was like, oh, like this is kind of like my first time doing all this shit my own. Like,
it's intimidating.
Yeah, it is definitely it's pretty intimidating putting a snowmobile onto someone's truck. Like, it's definitely really scary, and you can definitely fuck someone's truck up, just like Luke Winkleman did last year when we were filming for the Burton OneWorld. Launched a snowmobile on my truck.
What? He launched it?
Yep.
Airbud, golden retriever, onto the roof,
onto the sled, up over the sled deck, and then
onto the
smashed
cab,
right into the cab in the back.
Break the windows?
Nope, didn't break the window. Luckily, I only have like the one like kind of like plastic window. That's
nice.
And so he just into the top. But yeah, and we tried to load my snowmobile up onto my ramp out of the aluminum ramp that my dad made me, and it had like graters in it, kind of. So the ski got caught, like the plastic ski sometimes can like. You've probably seen.
Well, there's
like,
metal on the bottom.
Yeah,
too.
But then the plastic like kind of like can like get
cheese
caught
grated.
on my it can get cheese grated, or now on my sled deck it gets like kind of like it can just sometimes get caught and pull out like plastic off the ski. And I remember mine just like jammed up, and my ramp was on the wood, and my dad was like, here, put it around your back of your truck and just loop it like through the ramp so it stays up against it. And it caught, and so the ramp like pulled it up, and then pulled up the like sled deck thing that my dad made me, and I like almost got like kind of hit in the face. Kind of, I heard that somebody's had
Cale
that.
Stevens.
Yeah, Cale Stevens, dude.
Yeah,
Ripped his nose off.
Tyler Orton was telling us about it that day, and
So you almost got killed.
yeah, kinda. And then Jared and Tyler were like right there, and then Jared's like, what in the hell? And we like realized that it was not working, and then we like stole this other homie's pretty nice sled ramp and loaded that thing right up.
You stole somebody's ramp?
Well, I didn't steal it.
Borrowed.
I borrowed.
There you go. Good karma.
Yeah.
Good
Put
thing-
it back in the back of his truck.
There you
but
go. He would have let you
I
use
feel
it.
like homie, like you're in a sled parking lot. Like everybody's out there.
He would have let you use it.
They're all riding their ponies, having a good time. So I feel like it's pretty chill, like letting like homies use your ramp and shit.
For sure, especially if you can't get your shit in the car.
Yeah, especially if it's like frozen lock or something. If somebody ever wants to use my sled deck and you see my truck in the parking lot, go ahead.
That's good. That's good for people to know.
Like, yeah, you never know what kind of ramp.
What you get into out there.
There's a good bond between the petroleum pony goers out there, you know?
Are you still a RMK dude or Polaris guy?
Yeah, I'm still riding the same sled, actually.
Sick.
I got like 1,500 hours on that thing or something now. I'm trying.
1,500 miles?
Yeah.
That'd be
You
a lot.
say
That'd be a
hours?
lot of hours.
And
I think you left your truck and your sled at my house. I was almost going to try to use your sled, but I figured
yeah,
that
wouldn't
be dope.
Left it there for
like
a few,
3 weeks or something.
3 or 4 weeks.
With the keys. I didn't use it.
Why not?
I just
Didn't
felt
need
I
to.
would have asked. You know what I mean?
We're Team Do over here in this part of the country.
He let me borrow his over there, and it was pretty dope.
Yeah, that thing goes
I've always
for
been a
sure.
Polaris guy though, but
Polaris?
Dude, the Polarises have way
isn't it ski
better
doo?
steering. Better
Like
steering.
doo-doo?
No,
You
it's
say
not.
Polaris, but
No,
it's got
it's
do
actually
in the name, dude. You know what I mean? So it's hard to go that way. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Hey, fuck it. Whatever's free is what team I am.
True.
I'll be team Yamaha if I can get my hands on one of those for free.
Yeah, for sure.
So at the end of the day, contest videos, what are you liking better?
I honestly find so much joy in both of them. I love having the adrenaline rush that you have and being at the top of the run, about to try and put down one of the craziest runs that you've ever put down on rails and jumps combined, and now side hits. And I think hopefully there might be some new features getting involved soon. So I think it's really cool, and I'm really, really hyped to be doing slopestyle. I have a lot of fun riding in that, and then, yeah, riding in the backcountry and filming. Like, that's probably one of the most insane feelings as well. It's like you go out for 14 days in Jackson or wherever you are in the world, in Canada or wherever, anywhere you're there and you're trying to stack video. Like, you're trying to get this 60-second, not even 60-second. Those clips I just played were like
Probably 8 seconds.
Probably 8 seconds, 9 seconds, because there's 4K cameras everywhere now. But I feel like it's such a different mindset when you're out doing the competition, because you have this like nervous feeling and you want to do good, you know, and it's really fun, and you're trying all these crazy tricks over jumps, and then you go and you're like, all right, we need to go hit the store, we need to go fill the sleds, and then let's go make some food. And we're starting a 4-day stretch tomorrow because it just snowed for 3 days, and there's a bunch of snow to be had and jumps to be built, and we got 4-day window of sun coming in. It's game on. Like, you're waking up at 4:15 a.m. and you're getting out the door by 5:15, 5:30. You're at the trailhead by 6:30. It's negative 28 in Jackson, and you're unloading your snowmobile, and you're going out to all these zones, and there's rivers right beside you that it just makes the wind chill probably negative 40. And it's just like such a different headspace, and it's so fun. And I feel like that's where, for me, it's like I love work. Honestly, at the end of the day, I just love snowboarding and being on my board, that I just have that addictive feeling. And whatever I'm doing with snow is just so fun. Like, and it's super sick that I have that opportunity to be able to go and ride my snowmobile and get those cool opportunities, and then go to a contest and drive up to the contest with 4 snowmobiles, 2 on a trailer and 2 on your sled deck, and then you're there for a week, and then you leave there and you're driving somewhere else. Like, it's so sick, and I'm super thankful to be able to do that.
The other contest kids probably trip, huh?
Red's got them loaded up too.
Yeah, Red too. I mean, your crew.
Yeah, I mean,
but some of the guys don't, right?
Me and Red, like me, Red, and Danny were driving from Jackson down to the U.S. Open last year, and we like rolled up to the parking lot, and there was 2 sleds on Red's truck. I had 2 snowmobiles on a trailer, and I had 2 snowmobiles on my sled deck, and we like rolled up to the U.S. Open, and like they were like, "What are you guys doing?" And that's when it was kind of like, "Oh, Burton's making a movie." It's sick because like
sets in with people.
Yeah, it's cool because then I feel like all the contest riders kind of like are mysterious of what we're doing, you know. And then it's sick. It feels really good when you pull up to a contest and do really well, and then you're just like, yeah, that was dope. Let's go film some.
Well, it keeps it refreshing though, as opposed to the guys that are kind of like aggressively training, not having fun, and you guys are out there chucking roast, and it kind of brings the fun back to it.
Yeah, and if the contest doesn't go good, fuck, let's hit the backcountry.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I'll have a better day.
And it's so sick. You can be so creative with the backcountry, and like that's why I love resort riding. My ultimate goal would be to do like a sick event up at some dope, super steep resort and have just like sick ass side hits and different lines that you could go all around the resort.
That'd be
because
cool.
like you have like so many opportunities to express your snowboarding in the backcountry. I feel like you're just sledding. You're just having fun on this sick ass machine.
Hard to get off those things sometimes.
Yeah. Some days when you're just not landing shit, you can just go and snowmobile.
You'll catch Chris doing that for sure.
Yeah.
Let's go 12 o'clock, boys.
Yeah.
I've seen Chris. He'll go up without his board sometimes if he's injured.
Snowmobiling's like my little
it's like his getaway.
Like retreat, my little throttle therapy out there.
For sure.
Throttle therapy.
Where the tomahawking isn't as bad. Like, you know, you go build a jump, you Tommy, you know.
Yeah. And that's where it's also crazy because you'll be out in the backcountry just having a sick day or whatever, and you're pinning it going up. Kind of, you definitely know what's going on. You know that you get to a zone and you dissect everything that is around you firsthand. You know, you get out there and make sure that you're in a safe zone where you can put the camera guy in, where you do this from the Avi.
You think of that now, huh?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's where I'm so thankful for Pat Moore, and I think Sage helped him kind of start that whole thing.
Yeah, I was going to say,
well.
have you done training now that you got hurt?
Oh, yeah, after my accident, that's all. There's kind of 2 ways you could go about it. You're either like, all right, this is going to haunt me, and I'm going to be scared as shit from this my whole life, or you're like, I'm going to go get as much training as you possibly can, and I'm going to go look this fear right in the eye and go conquer it.
And that's what you did.
And that's why it was kind of sick. I like kind of took a year off of like competing after my accident, and just like really, that was like kind of right at, like that was the year after I like got sober at the end of August of that year. And I just like went, and I remember I went up to Baldface again, right like one of the first trips I did, I went up to Baldface for that Abbey course, and I was like, all right, like if I make it through Baldface without drinking, like this is going to be a huge accomplishment. And if I don't get judged, that's going to be even better. Like,
so you were worried they were going to like
That's
judge you
a
for not
hard
drinking.
place to be sober. I can vouch for that. I've done that with
everyone's trying to throw you beers.
Oh, yeah.
Even
and
if you tell them you don't want to drink, they're still throwing you.
And then if there was one trip that you wanted to go up to Baldface and not be drinking, it is that trip, because
and that was Pat Moore's Avalanche safety class.
Yeah. I think Pat and Sage kind of like
Sage
started that thing like a while ago. I could be wrong, but
we'll get a link to it in the show notes in the description of the YouTube
for sure.
video.
And I think he might be doing one in Utah this year.
I think I heard that. Yeah,
but,
whatever he's doing, we'll link it.
Yeah, and that was awesome going to that trip, because like there's hardly any drinking going on, because you wake up at 6:30 a.m.
It's business.
You get food. You go into this classroom for 2.5 hours. Then you go outside and you're just doing the most insane Abbey. Like, huge shout out to Baldface and all of their staff up there. Like, they absolutely kill it with going up there to have an amazing trip with your family and with doing that course. And like, yeah, that's just a huge thing in my eyes, is like getting the touch up, getting all of the right equipment and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, it's very expensive, but like at the end of the day, life or death could be like that. So it's like,
for real,
you can spend a G to if shit goes south, you're gonna be fine.
You're gonna wish you spent that G.
Yeah, you do anything in hindsight if it does go wrong.
And it's really simple to have a really easy starter kit, and that's what's really cool that like Pat and all of Baldface and those guys do up there, is like you go up there and they have all these sheets of like, you should get this, and this. You need to get extra hand warmers for if somebody gets hurt, and then they're going into frostbite or whatever, and you get these hand warmers, you patch them up, and like there's all these little cool things that are so easy to just buy at the 7-Elevens and at like, I just went to REI after that trip and I was like, take my money. I need everything. Like,
you convince your friends to go take classes too, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's really cool. Actually, when we filmed Joy, Blatt and Runke ran that movie as well, and they made sure that everybody, all filmers and riders for that movie, if you had any shots in that, you needed to go to an Avi 1 course, which is pretty sick. I feel like every single project should do that out there, because that's really, really cool. Like,
you think, in hindsight, going back to your Alaska trip, if you had the training, it would have been avoidable?
Oh, yeah, up in the accident?
Or not Alaska, sorry, in Whistler. Yeah. I apologize.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, I probably would have been like, now if I would have gotten to that zone and been under that face, I would have been like, all right, let's stay really far away from that cornice. It's the end of April. Shit is heating up
all
like crazy. It's all weighted up. That thing is just waiting to go.
School bus ready to fall.
Yeah, it's a school bus ready to fall with a big-ass rock. And that's what's so sick, is I actually kind of told my story up in Whistler, and like it was really, up in Baldface for that Pat Moore course. And like we all like debriefed it and went through it. And I got so much insight from all of their guides and stuff like that. And it's really cool. And I mean, we pretty much got into this topic by how when you go out in the backcountry, you're snowmobiling, you show up to a trailhead and you see people there that have absolutely no idea what they're about to get there. Yeah, they have no idea what they could possibly get themselves into. They are rolling in on a 2010 snowmobile, and it's the older couple, and they're just going out to cruise, and really, they're probably at some point going to get off of. You see it all the time, actually, when you're even going out to zones. You're like, holy shit, there was a huge avalanche right here last night. Like, or yesterday at some point, And it also happens you be out filming all day in this one zone, and then you're on the way back home, and it's 3 p.m., and you're like, oh, shit, we have to change our route completely because there's just an avalanche. Like, dude, you just never know. Like, snow moves all the time, and it does whatever it wants to do.
It's in charge.
So bottom line, go out there and get the knowledge.
What happened to your airbag? Did you ever figure that out? Why it didn't deploy?
No, we did not. Red Bull sent it in, I think, or Red Bull didn't send it in to him. I still have it, but we like took photos and things like that. And Red Bull hit up the company, and they
That
just
sucks, dude.
They just kind of said that.
I mean, you still probably would have got
But
pretty
it might have
battered.
protected your back and stuff,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
There's some
Yeah, it's pretty
possibility.
It's pretty crazy. I had like a probe and a shovel in my backpack and a couple other things, and they think that they
Helped you a
that
little.
helped a little bit for sure from maybe folding me more or whatever. I don't know there because my probe was in there, and it like how a probe looks when it's broken down. There's like 8 different like slots, and it like was like fully bent. And
It's
like
a lot of
Yeah.
flex torsion.
and
a lot
like
of
and it
torsion.
like stabbed through my backpack and like kind of scratched my like T-bone area, and like they think that may have like possibly helped a little bit from the backpack because obviously there was a lot of velocity in there. If you can break a probe, like
if you're on a how big was the cornice? Was it the size of like a bus that you were on?
probably it was probably like 20 to 30 feet, like overhanging.
You're one of
by,
those
like,
big, ugly, gnarly,
yeah, just one
scary
of those.
ones.
I have some crazy photos that I'll send you guys, but
And you
it's pretty
remember when
insane.
it like the rug just went out from underneath you?
Oh yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
that must have been the
Oh.
worst.
Your board was totally RIP too, right? You focused your board.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. My board broke right here.
Whoa.
Like it snapped like
It snapped that. Yeah, it snapped.
Torsionally.
It snapped like the oppo way.
straight up the middle.
Yeah, straight up the
That's
middle.
fucked up. I never seen that.
I've never
Broke.
seen
It
that
broke
either.
like right here as well, and then actually you can kind of see it right here, like where my bindings go. It pushed through my boards,
Crazy.
like through my board to the bottom
That's
of the
some
fucking base.
Howard, dude. That's
you were just
fucked up.
bouncing off rocks.
Yeah, rock scratches and shit all on the bottom. Edge is like broken. Thing's toast.
Dude, that's scary stuff. Do you still have any PTSD from it when you're out there, or you feel like you conquered it?
No, yeah. I mean,
The mental training and
at
then
the
getting
end
back
of
on the
at
horse.
the end of the day, shit happens in this sport, and injuries will happen at any given second, and you got to just do a good job on staying up on getting the PT and staying in the gym and being strong and trying to stay healthy,
Yeah. Because I know even Bodie said he'd have dreams where he woke up suffocating after his avalanche. And
Yeah,
but you sounds like you did training.
had one not too long ago. I remembered I was like, whoa, fuck, I just woke up. Like,
you wake up in
From
a
it.
cold sweat and
Yeah.
you feel like you're suffocating.
yeah, for sure. But I mean,
Scary.
yeah, at the end of the day, that was a huge, traumatic, life-changing event that has happened to me, And I feel like how I was just saying, you could either go either way.
Yeah, that could break
Either-
somebody or would have made you stronger.
Yeah, it either is going to break somebody down and you're really scared of the backcountry. And that's why it was really cool having all the support from all my sponsors, like right after the accident. It was just like that Burton, and I just remember we were in LA one night and I talked to like Taylor, Timmy, and George Carpenter, and they were telling me, they're like, just saying, like, as Burton family, like, we back you 150%, and you can do whatever you want with your snowboarding. You just had one of the craziest things. Like people walk away from the sport, if
Yeah.
something like that could possibly, like, it happens, and I feel like having this support from these guys and just, like, letting me do whatever I wanted after my accident was just so sick. Like, so thankful for everybody in my corner for letting me go out and just be like, yeah, I want to go film. And it was sick, dude. I literally spent I think I got like 12 days on hard packed snow the year of my accident, or so. Like, it was like very, very low, which is super, super dope. I was super hyped on that.
And then you guys got movie of the year after, so
Yeah,
Worked
exactly. It was really sick. I was really stoked.
A couple more things I'm fascinated by because didn't really partake in the contest scene as much growing up. Like, at the top of your run before you're going to drop in, do you have any rituals or things you do to, like, get in the zone like some people do?
Not really. I mean, yeah, a little bit. I really like, I have to have music in my headphones when I'm riding, except when you're in the backcountry. Obviously, you're completely open-minded of whenever your homies are going, and you do not bring headphones in the backcountry. Like, but when I'm in the contest, I need headphones. Like, on a contest day, I have like 4 to 5 pairs of headphones in my backpack, just in case
one
like
breaks.
one shits the bed. It's all good. I'll get it back up there and put a new pair.
What
in.
are we
Like,
bopping? A lot of people want to know what's the...
yeah, I kind of am I'm a pretty big fan of the new era rap for sure. I really, me, Judd, Luke, Red is kind of honestly on like his own shit. He's like, seriously, this shit again? Like, he's not really too into it, but like me, Luke, and Judd are always like sitting there. Just, like,
Luke's got the playlist.
Isn't
going.
Luke
Dude,
like
Luke's
kind of
got the
he
pretty
cues
dope-
up some tunes?
Yeah,
or what?
shout out Luke Winkleman on the SoundCloud playlist.
Is it public on there?
Yeah,
All right,
look
we'll
up Luke Winkleman.
We might
and you
link
got
that up.
Yeah,
Well,
We have a last-minute guest question from Luke, presented by Solomon Snowboards. Solomon supports this podcast. You should support them if you're looking for a board. Get yourself a Solomon Huck knife. Judd Henke's rides that thing, and he beats down the park. Here we go, Luke Winkleman. He's actually coming at you from an airport, I believe.
What up, Bombhole? Huge fan, Luke Winkleman here, checking in from the airplane bathroom. Brouch, could you tell us about that time that you maxed out your credit card in Innsbruck? Heard you guys had a night. Who was there? What was happening? Yeah, would love to hear. Thanks, boys.
Thank you, Luke.
Wow. That's a question to be answered for sure.
Sounds like a question you don't want to answer.
You kind of threw you under the bus with that.
Yeah. So I mean,
Which
That's-
birthday was this?
that's kind
first
of
of all?
that wasn't really
Or it wasn't a
around my
birthday?
birthday.
Maybe he didn't even say that.
I
don't know.
think that was
Maybe you were just partying like every day was your birthday back then.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Pre-sober, obviously.
For sure. Yeah, so this is 3 or 4 years ago, and this is obviously very pre-sober. We went and me, Red, Luke, or I don't know if Luke was even there, honestly. Or yeah, Luke was there, and Chandler Hunt, and Kyle Mack, Nick Baden, Brandon Davis.
This sounds like the all-star lineup at Super Park or the launch.
Yeah, we all that was when all of us were kind of on the U.S. team doing our own thing, and that was when all those boys were competing still and around, and we went out in Innsbruck and had a fair share of beverages that night, and definitely ended up a place I did not really want to end up. There's but other than that, I don't really want to get too into that story.
So you maxed out your credit card partying.
I
We'll leave it at that.
maxed out my credit
It
card.
happens to the best of us, man.
I did, and yeah, I'm not really too hyped on that situation, but I've came a long way in that.
It's
will
rad
not-
to see how far you've come.
That,
man.
will
Look at that,
not,
you
that
look-
will not be happening.
It's good to
anymore.
look back on that when it's in your rear view and it's not something that happens on the regs
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
You can talk about maxing out the credit card in Europe at
Yeah,
the bar.
especially, I just can't imagine you kids were all so tight, living this crazy life, just thrown in these situations where they're serving you in Europe. And
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's
insane.
gotta have
That
been
night was
crazy.
actually
at that
insane.
age.
I maxed out my credit card, went back to the hotel at like 5 a.m.
Euro,
and we were staying up in this little town up by Stubai Glacier, and the taxi driver drops me off. He's like, "Yeah, that'll be $58," and I was like, "I don't have any more money."
You were maxed.
and I was like, "You can take me up to the ATM. I'll try it, and I'll see what's up." And then Nick Baden, I called Nick Baden at like 5 a.m. He came running down in his boxers and
He hooked you up?
Yeah, he hooked me up.
Give an air horn
Yeah.
for that. What an OG.
What are
Yeah.
friends for, dude? What
Yeah.
would this guy have done to you, you think?
Yeah, who knows?
Put you
I
in
don't
the
know.
trunk and drove you who knows where?
At that point, I was so cross-eyed, I don't even know what was up or down.
Dude, props to Baden on that one, huh?
Yeah, what a G.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that you got in the taxi with no money. Took
Pulled
a long
that
drive up.
move before. Yeah.
I think
just
I
got
got
it,
too.
like, What's
Yeah, we're all
to
good.
go down right
We're all good, dog.
Pretending like you don't know that your card's going to get declined.
Yeah.
But, one more thing I want to talk about, too. Like, we get asked a lot of questions. I can speak for myself and saying that I get asked a lot of questions. And, like, since we started the show, how do I get sponsored, right? Like, how do I get sponsored is a common DM I get. And it's a lot of times people forget that you got to be really good to get sponsored. It's like, it's not necessarily about the who you know. I mean, it is to a degree, but like they forget the fundamental thing behind all of it is being really good. And I think that it's really cool from your guys' perspective because being a contest dude, you guys just get really fucking good. And if you get really good, you're always going to be able to go film. You're always going to be able to go build jumps. You're always going to have the fundamental skill set. Whereas like sometimes when you start filming, you stop riding as much. You're just like building jumps and you're going on street trips and you're only strapping in 4 days a week. And so it's I personally think that it's important to get really good. It's good to do contests when you're younger, and then you can transition and do anything. Do you have anything you want to add to that? Or
Yeah, I feel like for me, growing up, I just kind of wanted to snowboard as much as I possibly could, you know? And I feel like that's what everybody wants to do. At the end of the day, if you love this sport and you want to do this sport and you want to try and go out and get sponsors, you got to work for it. Like, it is, and that's where it's like when you hear these people saying some things that people say, you know, in the industry about, if you just hear like some shit talking, you could say, behind your back or whatever, you know, and it's not like towards me, or it's just like when you hear it about other people and other athletes, you're like, well, take it easy. Like, he's working his ass off, and like you don't even really know, because you are on a completely different brand than this person, and you have no idea. You don't even film with that person, you know? And like, I feel like at a young age, you need to prove to the companies that you necessarily kind of like have what it takes. And like, companies don't want a person that is just like kind of slacking, like doing it half-ass, you know? Like, companies want somebody that is very, very stoked on about snowboarding, somebody that is very positive, that is super hyped to just be a snowboarder and just be homies with everybody. I feel like is like what companies want. They don't want these people that are talking shit and like going out to all these events and going to all these after parties and just like doing all this shit and like shit talking, pretty much, you know? I feel like that's where it is. And you definitely have to put your head down at some point in your career. And like, I was listening to Zach Hale's Bombcast. He was kind of talking about like, it's to the point where it's like, who gives a shit what you're doing on social media? Who cares how you're like acting or whatever, you know? Like, it's just, we're all in this trying to make money and doing what we love to do, you know? And I feel like Zach had a really good point of view on it. Zach Hale, shout out. Great bomb hole.
Give him an air hole.
Super good homie too. Knowing Zach for a very long time, and he's a great boarder. But
straight up.
and Burton doesn't keep people around either, man. That's a hard team to be on.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
you're not coming through, it's like, I mean, they obviously have their family element, but you got to be a good rider to be on the team.
For sure.
I guess people do forget that, huh, like you're saying.
But yeah, I mean, I don't
rip.
Dude, it's hard. It's crazy. We're in this pandemic.
It's a scary time, huh?
Yeah, like, it's crazy to think what is about to go down with snowboarding. It's crazy to think what's about to go down with the election. It's crazy. Like, but you can't get fed up in that. You have to, that's where I go back and love living for the moment. And I have a tattoo on my arm that says, live for today because yesterday is over and tomorrow may never come, because that's just kind of the bottom facts of it. And yeah, you got to just want to go get it, you know? And I feel like that's what companies are kind of looking for. And that goes for like everybody, like even like the kid that is out there working the hardest in the streets is going to get the most shots and the most photos in the mags and the like best way for him to get paid. And if that's the way they want to go, that's the way they want to go. The homies that are working hard in the competition scene, that's the way they want to go. And then you have where you can try to match it up, and that's where I'm kind of as like, I want to really go out and film in the backcountry because I love snowboarding so much and love being able to go and explore and do really fun stuff. But I feel like through the launch and through all of these events coming up from a young age, from starting at USASA Nationals at 6 years old, going through to Rev Tours, to Grand Prix, to the Dew Tour, X Games, U.S. Open, and then hopefully the Olympics, you know, you're working for it. Everything you do in snowboarding, you have to be wanting to do it in your own way, you know, and I have respect for everybody that's doing this sport in their own way, you know.
That's dope.
Damn, he's dropping knowledge.
Like
I love it. Circling back to when we talked to Sage, I asked him what one of the worst trends in snowboarding was. He said, not working hard.
He did.
And it's true. I just love that underlying tone of like the dude that's doing the best in the streets, the dude that's doing the best in the backcountry. They're working hard, and you get out what you put in the words of Sajay.
Sajay did say that.
And no,
I think your dad says that too, huh? Or maybe you say that.
Yeah, no, I just am a firm believer in, and also knowing that, like, because some people think that it's about talent. Some people are like, that guy's different than me because he's talented and I'm not. But you realize it's not about talent. It's about work ethic and like the shit that goes on behind the scenes for you guys. Like it's not like you guys just show up and chuck cab 12, front 16 and whatever the fucking rotation is. Like you got to be like on. Like I go to the gym in the morning at a dude tour. There's like everybody's in there. Like everybody's on it, dude. It's gnarly.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like it all goes back to how good you want to be at snowboarding. Like you have to take care of your body at the end of the day, and that's like where it comes back to like alcohol and things like that. Like we're in a very social sport. I feel like you're always at these events or you're always at these movie premieres where all the homies are and like you have drinks and like, but then you could, the way I kind of saw it is that I can't really drink too much or I can't drink at all. And I feel like the best for me to be at this sport is to not have that in my life, and I feel like no matter how you look at it, like you need to be in the gym and you need to be treating your body and putting the right nutrients and putting the right things in your body to be able to be the best human that you could possibly be, and I feel like that's like Sage is on like mad good diet.
Yeah.
Like
workout diet.
And like
he's a machine.
And it shows. Like he works hard and it's really, really cool to see that he is working that hard and taking care of his body and like kind of showing like he's not doing no contest or anything. He's just strictly filming in the backcountry, but you always see on his social shit that he's always like eating well and like always in the gym and mountain biking and like doing other really dope stuff, and it's really cool because you really can do it all,
And you're somebody that's been on both sides of it. You've been somebody that's gotten banged up a lot, getting drinking and partying and all that stuff. And you've managed to have a career doing that. And you've also been on the other side of not drinking and kind of like carpe diem, seizing the day. And it seems like, from my perspective, that you are much happier on the other end of things. And I think it's cool. It's not like some guy that was never had a drink in their life. Like, I like that you've been rough around the edges. I like that you did have your stint of getting super fucked up. Because then you're like, I trust this guy. But sometimes people that have like right out of the womb, they never touch the drink or something. You're like, all right, I don't know.
Yeah.
No cap. You can't trust those guys.
Yeah, for sure. I think, it's pretty crazy some of the looks you get when you're like, they're like, hey, you want to drink or anything? Like, no, I'm all good. You got any like non-alcoholic beers? Me and Danny were actually just talking about that the other day. I feel like non-alcoholic beers are about to come popping up.
Chris pops those off on trips after a good day.
Oh yeah.
I used to just slam those things though and just get like just
so
super bloated
and uncomfortable, just like
as full as you
like
can possibly get.
Like not even like just not fucked up and like uncomfortable.
Yeah,
just
like oh my
drink
God,
like
what did I do?
11 of those in a row. Yeah, thank God for the seltzer waters.
Seltzer waters
those things
are
you
the
can crush.
Dude, bubbly water. Stay hydrated when you're out at the bars. It's so dope. It's great.
Love them.
Hit the Sprite, hit the Coke, just the quick sugar rush, and then you're all good. You can be out with the boys all night.
Can you do fucking airs and shit on your surfboard? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
You can.
Holy
You
shit.
can do airs?
Yeah, I could send you guys some clips.
We would love
Send us some clips,
dude.
Yeah.
For sure.
I heard you were a good surfer, but that's like a whole nother level there.
Yeah, I'm going to Hawaii in 4 days.
4 days
with Mark
for a film trip.
Yeah,
or just fun?
I think Russell 69's coming out, and we're gonna go stack some clips.
Hey,
should be pretty sick.
That sounds incredible. I got a question for you about surfing. How come when it's a quarter pipe and they do a 540 or a McTwist
Isn't this
or a
a great
crippler,
mystery question?
it's a
for the
360.
ages?
Why is it a 360? What's your thoughts on that? Because that doesn't make any sense to me.
That's That's a very big topic.
It is a big topic.
That is a huge topic in surfing.
Well, what's your take? I need a take on this because mine is a fucking 540. I'm a firm stance on that.
Me too. I come from a frontside 540. It's
School of thought.
It's really weird to me because on a vert ramp skateboarding, you do a frontside 360, right? You do like in the half pipe. If you do like a frontside 180, it's a frontside 360, right? On a skateboard. And you do a frontside like 540 in the half pipe. It's the exact same. You do a backside 540, it's like a back 3. Same exact thing. So why is surfing different? I have absolutely no idea. Other than the fact that they might be cheating themselves a little bit because you can't get like that 6 or that 510 board flipped all the way around completely. But yeah, I don't know. I that's a really weird question for a lot of people to answer, and a lot of people have their point of views at it, just like a lot of people have their point of views at competitions and video parts.
I'm gonna make another two-part. I'm gonna make this into a two-part.
Two-part question.
So I've been watching a few surf videos, and these guys, they go do their grabs, and like obviously it's ridiculously fucking hard to grab a surfboard. But like most of them are
it's
like,
really not though.
They're like kind of like whack, like mute grabs.
Exactly.
Is there anybody like doing methods and shit?
Yeah,
out there?
yeah.
You can do methods?
Yeah. Curran Caples has a pretty mean like melon method thing. I'll send you guys a clip of me trying. Like I did a couple at Waco down in Texas, and I was it kind of feels the same for sure. Like I was doing it backside, like going down on my heels. And I'll send you guys a clip.
That wave's always the same too, right?
Yeah, it's so sick.
So it's a good one to figure out.
You go there, pay some munch, and just get some insane waves.
How many biscuits we talking for like an hour of surfing?
Yeah, at that place.
You could go there and do an hour of surfing for I think $90, and it's like, but there's like waves that come. There's 3 wave. Like when you pay for that, you can either do like beginner, intermediate, and expert. And the expert wave is like a 3-wave set, and it comes from the right for 30 minutes, and you get like, it comes every like 2 minutes, or no, it comes like every minute or something of like 3 waves coming through, and then there's like a minute break,
so it's
or like
rapid
like
fire.
a 50-second break or something. Yeah, and then after that 30 minutes, you go left. It's pretty sick. But then if you go there on like a film trip, it's like usually between like 4 G's, you're splitting it between all the homies, like 4
to get the park for yourself.
4 to 7 G's if I had to guess, with like all your homies splitting it up. But how you usually do it is you like go down there, rent it out for like 2 hours at night and then 2 hours in the morning, because in the summer when we're down there, it's too damn hot in Texas to be able to even be out in the
Even
heat.
to be in the water?
Yeah, like all the homies are always getting heat stroke and shit. It's pretty gnarly.
Really? Is that place pretty crowded?
Yeah, it's pretty crowded
Salt
for
Lake
sure.
needs one of those, man.
Dude, Salt Lake needs
this
one
place
of those.
would become the ultimate
that
zone.
Yeah, I could look into that. That would be sick.
Open it up, dog.
I want to see a fat, stiffy mute. Actually, I just thought about that.
Rigid, mute, stiffy.
Like imagine just a knees locked, stiffy mute on a surfboard.
Yeah, it's back to where you were like, why is it hard to grab or whatever? It's, for me, obviously, like, and for other people, yes, it's obviously pretty damn hard to do grabs and make them look good on surfboards, but the board's so damn big you can grab it any way you want, you know? But to switch it up, it is really hard. It's hard to do like the stale fishes and the other things. I've done, like, it's pretty crazy. You feel so comfortable on a snowboard, and then you go and surf and you're trying like air reverses with stale fish and shit, and it's like kind of hard.
Dude, I can't even go. I can barely go diagonal down the goddamn wave.
Dude, you guys got to come surf.
I'm still figuring out if I need to go left or right. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's pretty sick. A lot of snowboard homies are getting super psyched on surfing.
Oh, it's fun. It's
sick
so
to
fun.
see.
Yeah, I mean,
when I was
awesome.
just in Denver, Ferg and I were talking one night at dinner for like an hour and a half about just surfing, and then the next morning I was talking about surfing to Red, and then the next morning it's really sick to see all the homies starting to surf. It's really fun.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It's super sick, and it's really cool because the bigger wave, like the more you get comfortable, the bigger waves you can surf. The kind of scarier they get for sure, but like the more it feels kind of like snowboarding, and like you can really like draw out turns and lay into it and shit. It's
Make
really,
it
really
legit,
fun.
huh?
Yeah.
Do you have a good powder turn in snowboarding from surfing?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Be honest here.
I think that surfing. I not like I have a good powder turn, but I feel like surfing helps my snowboarding for sure, and how I look at things for sure. I love riding tranny. Like I'm always looking for side hits on the mountain. Even in the course is like I love those side hits, and I'm always trying to like kind of hit those side hits and stuff. But it's so damn hard because Red's always just going way.
He's going
bigger
Chuck
than
roast on
everybody.
the.
I feel like the surfer eye inherently gives you a good pow turn. You just ride the snow a little bit differently.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe you're more light footed. I don't know. But then again, when it's really deep, it's definitely like really weird because like from right now, I just was snowboarding for like a month. And then I'll go back home and get in the water and like feel a little weird for the first
because you're up top.
First like day or two, because I'm like, you got to kind of like relearn how to do it, because there's definitely like with surfing, it's huge on making sure your feet are they're both equal, you know? Like you need to be able to, when you go up and do like a turn or whatever, you want to make sure that you can put that weight on the front of your foot to be able to come back in. Where snowboarding, it's very equal footed. But then when you're riding like POW or something, you're so back footed that it kind of like makes you lighter. I don't know.
That makes sense.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Good insight.
I feel like if you're riding mountains, like big mountain terrain, you're probably just wanting to hack that shark fin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's like the surfer move, is just give that a little surfer on the news. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Surfer on the news. I remember that vid, dude.
Surfer
He's
on the
probably
news.
never seen that, but we'll link that one up too. That's a good
You
one.
know surfer on the news? He's like,
I don't.
so
yeah.
pitted.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
pitted.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He probably knows the surfer
Yeah,
on
he
the
probably
news.
met
That's
the
probably his
surfer.
boy.
No, I don't. But I think that video was filmed in Huntington Beach.
It probably, I'm
not
sure
too
it
far
was.
away from my house.
All right, I got one more Patreon question for you from Cooper Reichween. Hopefully I said that right.
R.I.P. to that homie's last name.
R.I.P. to your last name, Coop. What setup do you ride, and what is your stance?
I ride a Burton 158 Custom, but next year at X Games, I'll be switching it up a little bit. Yeah, there's some new boards coming out with Burton that I think hopefully some people will be pretty psyched on. But as of right now, I ride a 158 Custom. Stance is 0-0.
Oh, shout.
Wow.
Let's go. Give him
And
an air horn for that.
Isn't that the Bradshaw special?
Dude, reason for that being I spent a lot of time at the Gerard household when I was younger, and I used to always go out there and stay out there for like a month and ride the backyard. And one night, Kai and Stunt Dick Jerry, Red's other brother, they switched my stance to like 0-0, and I think my board was like backwards or something like that. Didn't even notice.
Just went out like it was nothing.
Rode it in the backyard the next day, and then I think we went to Keystone, and I started riding, and then like after like the first or like second run, I realized that my board was like backwards or whatever, and then ever since then I kind of just threw them on there. 0-0.
Adapted it.
It feels pretty good, and then I run a little inside of reference. I think reference is like 21 or something.
That's
So
like the
maybe
recommended
20.
stance or something?
Yeah. I don't know. It switches up, though. Every time I'm like, this looks good. Like,
Oh, really?
I don't know. Like, it's not like super. If it feels a little weird, I definitely kind of change it. But usually I just ride it out. But I definitely would like put it back a little bit if I was going to ride in the POW, you know, because I actually sometimes ride this board when we're like out building jumps and stuff like that. And in the clips of OneWorld, I was riding a family tree board though, like 160 or something like that.
You can't talk about this new board? Some secret shit?
Yeah. Me and Luke Winkleman and Niels got some secret shit coming out soon with Burton.
That sounds cool, whatever that secret shit is.
I'm interested.
I'm
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah, it should be.
The samples come out this year, and then the product another year from now, or what?
I'm not too sure how
Yeah.
it works. I wonder.
It's coming in the pipeline. That's all we need to know.
I don't really know much about it, honestly.
Cool.
I'm really stoked.
Forward lean? What you do any of that?
No, actually, sometimes. I don't know.
I like that he doesn't
I
know.
like your attitude. Ted. If it feels good, you rip it.
Yeah, if sometimes I'll mess with it for sure. If I don't know.
Yeah.
If I have like
More
a new,
tranny.
but usually, dude, I just get bindings, put it on the deck, run it.
I like that.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it.
Like
If it feels good, it feels good.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly,
awesome.
at the end of the day, strapping in feels good. So as long as I can do that, then I'm happy.
Love it.
Love hearing that. Well, I think we did it.
Yes.
Brock, you got any last minute thank yous you want to throw up before we wrap this thing out?
Thank you, Snowboarding. Thank you to you guys for having me. Thank you to all my sponsors. And yeah, that's about it. I'm super honored to be on here. And yeah, shout out to everybody watching. Thank you for tuning in. And you guys are absolutely killing it. Keep doing
Brock.
it.
Thank you, Brock.
Thanks for coming.
And then one last thing before we take this out, in our YouTube video, in our description, we'll have links to OneWorld. And then if you're listening on the audio version, in the show notes, you can click on that. We'll have the links to OneWorld and all the links to everything we talked about, every episode. Stony Buds kills it on those. So
Thanks, Doug.
we appreciate you guys listening, and we will see you next week. Over and out from the bomb hole.